It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog need. Slap Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
Ask you something? I said, can I ask you something? Ain't I'm clean?
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
This ain't loud enough, I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough, I'm still trying. I just left a light in this. I just left a light in this bitch.
Fuck up. Move the fuck.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
Joe feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously.
You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
Dance with me. Hey, dance with me. I mean TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
Up yours, nigger.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
Don't know me.
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Use a snort cocaine, now I beam for the check, yeah.
my word. Can't be my equal, don't know what you heard.
I think we OD'd. I think we OD'd.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is. That's the difference when you're my baby.
Doing the styles on, doing the styles on them like it's. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the. Lean and buck, lean. Lean and buck, lean, buck. Lean and buck, lean, buck, lean. Lean and buck, lean, buck.
Do that dance, baby, do that.
Schatzi, is it true what they say about the way you people are gifted? Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
Hump baby.
Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only galactic daddy-o welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe.
Well, that must be my motherfucking key to say hello, how you doing? But as you know, if you follow me long enough, you know the first thing I do is give up the beer. And we switched up a little bit because I knew I had bought all the other beer out, but my girl wanted to order some shit. And they had Great Lakes, Imperial, Amber, which is basically a stout. But it's 12%. It is, again, by Great Lakes. Great Lakes in Grand Rapids. It says, join our 35th anniversary celebration with this limited edition Imperial Stout, lager inspired by one of our 1988 original recipes. Yeah, I thought these motherfuckers is in Grand Rapids. No? Where are they at? Yeah, I think they're in Grand. But anyway, pop them if you got them. Oh, it's ready. It's ready for me. Okay, I'm dropping shit. I'm gonna hit this motherfucker. And, you know, I'm hitting on the Luca, Unicorn Luca. Smoke them if you want them. I ain't put shit in this in a week, and it's still smoking like a motherfucker. What should I say tonight? What should I say? All right, let's go over the schedule. Right now, I am 5-7. I end up 5-7. Lost Tampa Bay, lost Buffalo, won Cleveland, lost Detroit, lost the Raiders, lost Washington, won Seattle, lost the Rams, lost the Packers, won KC, and won the Eagles, which made me 5-7. So I end up 5-7. The Vikings are probably going to lose, but they get 7, so I'm taking the 7. So that's how I ended. But all that matters is that the Eagles won, and y'all probably didn't win. So the Eagles won. You see, I got the money green. It's like I don't need to buy no new shit. I got the Chuck Benedict. One of the Eagles, the last two-way player in the NFL is Chuck Benedict, because there was a rule. Football was very much like soccer. Only 11 could play. That was old-time football. Only fucking 11 could play. So once you played, you was in the whole goddamn game. You played offense and you played defense. When I was a little boy, that's how we did. Up until I got in about 11th grade. No, I'll take that back. As a freshman, because I played quarterback, he wouldn't let me play defense, and I was the hardest hitter on the team. I was tearing motherfuckers' ass up, and he made me quit hitting it. He was like, yeah, you got to quit hitting before you get hurt. Because I was tearing motherfuckers up on defense. He's like, oh, you like playing defense? I'm like, yeah. He's like, no, you're just going to play quarterback for me. I was like, really? You ain't going to let me play defense, coach? But the Eagles look very good tonight. I don't know how your team looked, but I'm going to say this, and I wrote this before the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami comes back and wins it. Because my thinking looking in the game is that's the Super Bowl matchup. And I thought the winner tonight, and this is what happened to the Eagles before. When the Eagles and Raiders played in the Super Bowl, which, both my favorite teams. My AFL team was the Raiders. My NFL team was the Eagles. And when they played early in the season. The Eagles beat the Raiders. Played in the Super Bowl, Raiders beat them. Raiders beat them in the Super Bowl with Kenny Stabler and Cliff Branch. Oh, wow. Yeah, this has a serious Scotch taste. They put them in them barrels, and it'd be a little bit Scotch in the barrels. Yeah, it's got a great Scotch taste. And this shit's strong as wine. It's 12%. So I don't know how your team win, but that's my prediction for the Super Bowl right now. If I'm looking at what I came up with earlier, it looks like it's going to be the Eagles and the Dolphins in the Super Bowl with the Dolphins winning. That's my prediction, because that's what I wrote before the game started. I said the winner of this game is probably going to win the Super Bowl. So I'm a hold with right now. I'm thinking Miami's going to win the Super Bowl. I'm still going to be an Eagles to the end, but I'm thinking Miami's probably going to win the Super Bowl. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So what's happening, PJ Allen? I was going to put some new shit in, but I ain't had time. Whoa. Oh. Ooh, that was extra cool. And I know PJ Allen always controls his.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
He's definitely got
to have vision.
What's happening, Anthony G? And I know you got to have.
Got to have vision.
My brother from the Mississippi. What's happening? And I know you got to have.
Got to have vision.
And I told you, Lorenzo, I think it's July. I'll be in Columbus, Mississippi, so we're going to have to hook up down there. And I'm going to buy some land down there. If the land is still available that I've been told about, I'm going to buy it while I'm down there. I must say this, because I don't know how much land is available in Macon, but I found some land available in Knoxville County that I can buy. So I'm thinking about buying me some land. Jamar, 3224, what's happening? And I know you definitely got to have.
Got to have vision.
CWE, what's happening? And I know you definitely got to have.
Got to have vision.
And Digis, Rick and Leo, what's happening? And I know you definitely got to have.
Got to have vision.
What do you say? Chinese women love niggas. Yes, they do. You pull it out, they be like, ooh, ooh, ooh. If you with a Chinese woman, she don't say ooh, she's been somebody else done gave her the ooh before you. So you get with a Chinese woman, she don't go ooh, because you've seen them. You Chinese porn is and Chinese and Japanese porn and Japanese people are some of the sickest porn people, torture bitches, torture people, Japanese porn. And like it'd be like Chinese, Japanese, the man be like this and shit. How do you even how is it pussy in there for like this? Micro penises. I don't get that, but some people like that. I'm glad the Astros lost. Yeah, the Astros lost. The Rangers won. Yes, right. And so it's game seven. Game seven. Astros, they got their ass whooped tonight. So it is a game seven. It is a game seven. What do you think about Galvin Newsom's Ebony Alert? It's kind of racist. I think I showed that a little while ago. It's people disappearing, children disappearing from Ohio like a motherfucker, especially around Cleveland. And so if it's something that can alert motherfuckers about all these melanated children that's disappearing, I'm fucking for it. So whatever the fuck you want to call it, it gets niggas to look at and everybody say, why are you with that child? Is that child supposed to be with you? More eyes on it, the better, I say. It's ironic that you mentioned the Eagles-Dolphins Super Bowl because I saw an article today that said that could be the Super Bowl matchup. That's what I was thinking. I wrote that down too. I got it on wax. I wrote it down for the game. I was like, the winner of this game is probably gonna win this. So that's what I'm guessing right now, that the Dolphins is gonna win. We'll see. On the behalf of the fellow Mississippians, Mississippi welcome you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where you think two girls in the cup come from? Yeah, that's a good point. That shit looked fake. That shit looked like ice cream. It looked like ice cream, and I don't know. That shit was like super gross, and it fucking looked like ice cream. But we never know. We never know. We never know. Because it's some nasty motherfuckers. The first time you lay across a bitch and the bitch be like, just piss on me. You're like, are you sure? Like Richard Pryor would say, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Just piss on me. I'd feel better about myself. What would you do? Would you piss on her or would you be like, damn, you nasty? Now, there's two ways to look at it. If you don't already bust your nut, you could piss on her and make her leave, or you could piss on her and some niggas that would turn on. So there's two I screenshot. Okay. I really believe it's a way to backdoor the reparations claim in California. Maybe. And I've said before, like what's the argument for reparations in California? I mean, if you go year-wise, I mean, you're going to be... The true crime was not slavery. The true crime was Jim Crow. That was the crime against us. Slavery was very regulated. That's my girl and I getting this argument all the time. Slavery was regulated. Like I was getting to her with maritime law. Maritime law is very regulated. That's why it's kicking them in the ass of slave ships. It ain't no slave ships. It was supply ships. You would take 3 or 4 people. Same with the Europeans, You're going to take so many animals, you're going to take so many criminals. But we do see the big ships that brought Europeans from Ireland. Again, we talking about a shorter trip around the northern edge. Shorter trip. And we know a lot of European slaves came over here. And right now, it's the imbecile psychopath class that fights their wars. That is, that's why they want to keep so many Europeans working Europeans, and they don't even get it. Because the European tends to think, we're European, we're just better. No, they're using you to be their killers, their psychopaths. And what did Ghost of Mississippi say? Well, the longer you're better than a nigga, you just... No, that's not the thing. The thing is to know the enemy. See, they try to, change the meaning of woke. Woke meant you got away from the illusion. That means you're liberal. It means you woke up to the illusion. You know beyond Christmas and the Wizard of Oz. That's what being woke is. It's lineage based. Okay. So the Ebony Alert is under African American or black. Yeah, definitely it is. Slaves in Philly were worth a lot. They were used for apprentice. That's a good point. Tons of European slaves during what does it say? The Inclusion Act is that? It's blocked. Let's see. I can bring it over here and see what it says. Yes, what it says in the tons of Europeans during the Enclosure Act. Okay, yeah, no, I don't disagree with that, especially around the turn of the century. That's why people, and a lot of people imitated me, but that's why the movie Gangs in New York is so important. It shows you. It shows you how they feel, and they think that that's where, the natives, the know-nothings. That's where that comes from. That's where Dane gets it from. He copied some of that shit from the movie, which a bunch of other niggas broke down the way I broke it down after I broke it down. I got a book here that's called, going into it, you say Philly. Now let's go. We can go into New England. I got a book here about slavery in New England. From the beginning to the Civil War, to the Revolutionary War. And it ain't that beating the motherfucker, you're raping the girls every night. It's nothing like that. It is a business economy. Do you understand? That's why people, if you read the book 12 Years a Slave, he was making his own bread in the book. He's always rented out. He had to share a little bit with his master. But again, he had a skill. And that's what people don't understand. During slavery, there were skill sets. Jim Crow was no skill set. They was chaining you up, making you bust rocks. Jim Crow was by far the worst period in America for melanated people. The trading of it went down, the price was like almost nothing. Where a person might have been worth $100-$200. Jim Crow, they was trading people for $5-$10, and they were still slaves. So then when they come in, Teddy Roosevelt's people come in around 1901, 1902, they was like, you can't just take these people with no paperwork. If these people committed crimes, you got to put it in paperwork. Then W.D. Bois goes not behind their back, and he looks up and he's like, this is what the fuck they're doing. They're doing the same thing. They're just covering it up with paperwork. Of course, the government, they destroyed them files. They didn't want to know it. I didn't know W.D. Bois did that. Whoops. So, I don't know. How are we supposed to feel about it? How are we supposed to feel about it? Tons of European. Okay, I saw Chinese or Japanese porn where the woman was tied to a bed. The man stuck his head between her legs and was not talking about the one between his legs either. Oh, okay. A lot of the natives came over as migrants. History repeats itself. Same as, that gets into, where you could buy into the tribes. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that could buy into the rights of tribes. Where that's a point that the Killer Moon doesn't really get is, that they could buy their way into tribes. Because again, poor white trash had nothing to lean on. They had nothing to lean on. They weren't giving anything. Now, in Oklahoma, they was giving free land and stuff, but that was it. They was just giving you the land. Now, later, as Martin Luther King says, they had to be taught because they destroyed the land. Let's not forget, they destroyed the land. That's what the Dust Bowl was all about. And that was the way America repaying them. After the Spanish killed all the people they killed and the farming wasn't done, we had a mini ice age after Cortez. Because he killed so many people and so many people weren't doing the natural thing that America needed to do, the farming that needed to be done. So it caused the mini ice age. And the way the land fought back against America is the sandstorm that we saw in the Midwest because let's tell the truth, you Europeans killed all the trees down. And you bragged about it. It's one tree you can see it's a 400-year-old tree, and a European's cutting it down and proud that he cut it down. Showed him the extra big saw he had to make. What right did he have? Same way I've said this before. I've lived in a reality where they didn't, they let the buffaloes go. They built the infrastructure around them. If these animals have a range where they go every year, they own that area. Not you Europeans that took those areas and killed all those animals. Technically, they own the land. If they've been here for thousands of years, which your scientists say, your historians say, the buffalo was here for millions of years. Matter of fact, they bison, not even buffalo. Then they do own the land. Because if for 1,000 years, right now, to say if you're Indian, they say your people got to be on the land for 100 years. So wouldn't the buffaloes been that? Because when the melanated people, in the reality where I go, where the melanated people take over, we don't need to destroy all this shit. We let the buffaloes go. We built above them. We let them have their free range. And contrary to the John, what was his name? The movie where Brothers was in charge and shit, it wasn't really like that. We didn't treat them like they treat us. Because that's their fear. If we become in power, we're going to treat them the way they treat us. That's their biggest fear. Because they know how bad they've treated the melanated people that they colonized. So that's their biggest fear. And that's that John Travolta movie. That's what it shows. We treat them just like, you see a little bit of that at Killer the Flower Moon. Imitating Europeans. Wanting to go to Europe. What the fuck I want to see that shit for? There's nothing in Europe. There's nothing in Africa. All my deep history is in South America. Mexico, South America, and in America. I don't want to see the pyramids in Africa. I don't want to see that Greek shit. I don't want to see England. I don't want to see nasty ass Paris. I don't want to see none of that shit. I only want to see shit in the Americas. Fuck the rest of it. And that's why I got on in the boule with Magic Johnson and our European vacation. You trying to be like them. You trying to be like them. You're worshiping their shit. And that's what they teach you. Go to Europe and worship their shit. Why do you care about Europe? That's what I don't get. When I see niggas in Europe, one of my teammates, he's like cheesing in Spain or fucking niggas in Greece. That ain't your history. You have no ties to that. They laugh at you for coming over there. Like, look at this dumb nigga. You think you got a connection to this? That's how they look at us. We look stupid when we go to Europe. Americans, melanated Americans, we look stupid when we go to Europe. Sightseeing they shit. That shit don't give you, don't broaden your horizon. That gives them niggas money. That's all it is. It gives them money. They think you have to make it to go to Europe. You're rich enough to go to Europe. They laughing at you. There's no connection between Americans and Europe. Not the motherfuckers that was here before. Now, you got a little bit of European ancestry. I can dig it. Okay. But that's some boule shit. That's what the boule taught. That's worshiping. That's worshiping Europeans. That's what it is. When you go to Europe and you want to see they shit, you worshiping them. So if that's what you into, okay. Why ask why? Let's keep spinning the double GY. They literally built the Tower of Babel right in our face with 5G towers, Babel frequency, not structure. That's a good point. Fuck that bullshit indeed. Oh, gee. Dr. Sinister, what's happening? And you got to have vision. All I'm saying is you get way more energy from being in America. That's a place where you go, it's going to suck your energy out of you. What's giving you energy there? I just told a story. My cousin, this is one, I'm going to talk a little bit of shit of him. His name should be Christopher Gant Jr. This nigga calls him his mom's name. His mom gave him up as a baby. He grew up with my cousin. Now he calls himself Christopher Barrett, I think is what this nigga does. He takes my cousin, who has high blood pressure, overweight. Cousin quit taking his blood pressure medicine. He took this nigga to Kemet, Egypt. 20 some hours on a plane. Because it was his son's ego. Again, he don't even use your last name on Facebook, but maybe his legal name, I don't know but the nigga's name is Christopher Gant, should be, Jr. But he calls him, he disrespects my uncle's family by calling himself his mama's name. Mama didn't raise him. shit, I think I'll stay away from that. But my cousin, he takes my cousin back to America. Within a month, my cousin has a debilitating stroke. Debilitating stroke where this nigga ain't did shit but been in that nursing home for 2 years. He's 3 years older than me. He's about 65, 66. I'm 62, so I'm thinking he's 65. Because when I was a freshman, this nigga was a senior. So yeah, he's around 65, 66, wherever his birthday is. I don't know. But this nigga can't walk. He can't feed himself. All cause the ego of his son wanted to fucking take him to commit. Which would have been better to take him to a specialist to get this nigga's shit together. So, ego gets in the way sometimes. It boggles my mind when we be in there, Greek fraternities, sororities. Yeah, I was reading some shit. And they's like, the reason why they invented sororities and fraternities for us is because we couldn't get into theirs. Now, as I said, in Flower to Killer Moon, they did something I never had heard about in Masonic halls. They punished a person like the Greeks would be. He had a Greek fraternity paddle, and he paddled that nigga when that nigga did some stupid shit. He had a dude steal his car that was easy to see. The dude got caught in the car, and the good dude told him, this guy, we was trying to do insurance fraud. So it fucked him up. It fucked up his boss, the one that the mastermind, his uncle. Hell. But that's why they started it. I read some shit today. It said the Boule Alpha or AKA shit. Yeah, Boule, but it had the annual Boule. That's all you got to know. And that's why it's so funny that, they back LeBron James. He's got the Boule symbol on his back because they're not about education. LeBron ain't about education. The Boule is the Booker T. Washingtons. About to get that education. But I mean, they tied both. I'll say, Du Bois was definitely a frat person. Again, it's imitating them. It's imitating them. Code of conduct. And it's a way to imitate them. Code of conduct. And the motherfucking frats and Masons. It's a whole code of conduct. You work for them peoples. You saw a video on that too? I'm not surprised. So, that's part of my rap tonight. I have a whole lot. I just wanted to talk shit about the Eagles winning, basically. But, it's hard to get away from, the boogeyman that's in your face all the time. The man. That's what they want to call it, the man. And behind LeBron got it on his chest. Okay, it's on his chest. He got the Boule symbol on his chest. Maybe we can look that up. Let's see. Let's see if we can find that. This ain't Boule. Oh, here we go. It's probably under this shit. And then little pictures. But I mean, this is the kind of shit you see, and they signaling to each other. The hidden hand kind of deal. All these secret things you think. And this is just little bullshit. What else they got here? Bill Gates, definitely. The Boule secret gatekeeper. Yeah, definitely a gatekeeper. Kobe's a gatekeeper. I don't know who this fathead nigga is. Oh, yeah. Don't get into Marcus Garvey either. Marcus Garvey was trained by them peoples. He was trained by them peoples. All his scam and everything was by them peoples. This ain't the picture I'm looking for. Oh, that's the one brother. Nick and them talk about him. I've never listened to this nigga, though, so I ain't got none. I don't know about this nigga here. I've never listened to him. Oh, here we go. The hidden objective, play the Boule. What does this say? Is W.D. Du Bois in this shit? But these is the early sellouts. He probably even passed. A couple of these cats probably even passed. This is some bullshit. Okay. I didn't find the symbol. That's Kendrick Lamar. Where's the fucking symbol at, though? That's what I was looking for. Oh, there it is. I saw it. Okay, it's just right here. Right here. Okay, this is that shit right here. This is the bullshit LeBron put on him. Is this shit like right here? Very similar to this. And they're all about education. Again, they call it, what do they call it? The Grateful Nine or the Proud Nine, where all the, copying Europeans, I'm gonna tell you, like I watched it. I need to look this nigga up. This nigga he was a professor at Duke University, and one of the frats brought him in, and he shitted on the frats. I don't even know why I went to see the nigga. Some girl was like, "You gonna hear this cat?" He shitted on him. He worked at Duke. You know what he said the frats was? And you can look this up. If you watch the movie of Alexander the Great, it kind of shows you that. Not the new movie. Watch one of the older movies of Alexander the Great, the one they did in the 60s or 50s. You kind of see this. But this is what frats in Greece was made for. Frats in Greece were made to connect older men with young boys for sex. What do you think the paddling in the ass is for? Remember Animal House? Yes, sir, can I have another? What do you think the paddle and you being your ass in the air symbolizes? That's pain to the ass. That's sodomy. Yes, sir, can I have another? That's what the paddling symbolizes. Like when you see in Glory, when you see Denzel get beat with the whip, that's supposed to be sodomy. That is what it symbolizes. He's getting sodomized in front of everybody. So if you say Denzel ain't wore the dress, he may not wore the dress, but he had that ass hyped up in the air, didn't he? Pain from the back, sodomy. And that's what Greek fraternities, that's why they created them. So they'd have a stream of young boys to fuck in the ass. And so, brothers copied that. Okay, you want to copy? But this professor, he shitted on him. He's the one that hit me to that story. He was fucking us up. He's like, oh, you guys want to dance to wind me up. You got to have something to wind you up. I was like, God damn, you're right, because I'm high right now. And here's a picture of all these motherfuckers that's connected to the boule. Like this is this is all these motherfuckers. W.D. Du Bois, the Pullman dude, the Ebony dude. I mean, look at all these motherfucking traders. You got this trader up here, J. Edgar Hoover was definitely a Mason. Harvey, Oprah. Oprah is connected to that island. We got a bunch of people connected to that island. Harvey Weinstein, Oprah ain't never like what Michael Jordan and Oprah have in common? They never helped people in Chicago. They never helped people in Chicago. Now, what do you think people really think about R. Kelly in Chicago? Always giving basketball tournaments, always helping the neighborhoods. Always trying to set up and give loans to people. That's why they didn't try him for anything where it would be a jury in Illinois, either one. Half of the shit that R. Kelly was doing in the neighborhoods, you ain't see Michael do that shit. And Oprah opened up a school in Africa. That is, again, linked to sex trafficking. Remember, they got kidnapped. Why couldn't she open up a school in Chicago? All them years she benefited. She owned a building where she had 2 floors in the building. So why didn't Oprah help people in Chicago? Why didn't, you could go on her show and she gave some people some cheap cars, She didn't give them the best cars. She got the cheapest cars she could find. And, what can I say? If motherfucker giving out cars, I guess there's no, I guess, if I had to do it. Here again, we look at motherfuckers, I'd have never thought they'd have tore this motherfucker's statue down, but they tore that motherfucker's down. But is this the same character? Albert Pike, Sharpton. I mean, look at the similarities of these fat motherfuckers, before he had the weight loss. He still got this giant ass head with the perm, but he's a character. Look at these characters. This is a rebirth of the character. you know? And this nigga was a Confederate soldier, Ku Klux Klan. And I'm going to tell you, out of all the spells they broke I never thought they would topple his. That took away a lot of their power. I'm admit. They didn't anticipate this nigga getting this shit tore down. Albert Pike. They didn't anticipate that. I didn't think this one was going to get fucked with. Look he got the German shit right there. That's the German eagle. And it's supposed to be tied in Mason, So, but yeah. So, the movie School Days did the same thing. Yeah, sort of, kind of. Beginning of the fourth quarter, Mike Tirico said 251 teams. Philadelphia area code is 251. Wow, good catch. Definitely triple nines. The movie's howdy. Hey, Big Stank, what's happening? Thank you for joining. And you definitely got to have vision. Denzel had to get shot in the ass to get that Oscar, exactly. Or be a snitching cop. I mean, Denzel, Training Day is the stupidest hustler, dirty cop. Like any character, what they did is they found a retarded character. Training Day is a retarded character. Denzel plays a retard. I mean, nothing but a retard would. The first day somebody work with you, you tell them, you show them, not just tell them, you show them your whole organization. You just meet this nigga, and because you got him to smoke some crystal meth, or no, he got him to smoke angel dust. That was enough to say, okay, he can't tell on me. That was the stupidest movie ever. And they gave this snitch nigga playing a dirty cop. And that performance is only second to Precious. That's second worst to Precious. Precious is probably the worst ever, but Training Day is the number 2 worst as far as to make our people, the way they made our people look. I mean, it's like we can get all this power and know all these people, but we just got to tell a European what we doing. You can't fill him out. You can't wait a year to see how he responds. No, you just take him to the whole enterprise. Then you try to kill him. I mean, this shit was beyond stupid. It's fucking beyond stupid. I guess somebody's here has got we are all the skull and bones where the boule was fashioned after us to bow. Oh, yeah, I guess it is kind of a copy of the skull and bones, all the frats. Oh, here this nigga is, right here. Like, this nigga didn't go to college, so why he got the boule on him? But he telling he's down with it. See, the boule had to adapt. See, they had to adapt. See, the boule couldn't just saying, stay with education. They had to adapt. So, his way of showing that he's in it, even though he didn't have the education, he had to put it on him. He had to be branded. Because, again, they have to adapt. You can't keep having these high school boys come that ain't never been to no frats. You can't have them, so you got to eventually let them in. And this is one of his early adaptation. This is one of his early, you got to be part of this, LeBron. So he shows the world. And this is not old. He's had this probably for 20 years. That's how far it goes back. That's how they got to him. It's like, yeah, and this is the boule, which, again, they have to adapt because you got these niggas, they ain't wasting time in college. They ain't in college long enough. Okay, look at all the niggas like Shaq, Michael Jordan. Them niggas was never on the lines for fraternities. Never on the lines, like my teammate, Monk. That nigga's on the line for 6 weeks, whatever. Michael Jordan didn't go through that. And those of you that's my age or a little younger and you in your 50s, if you was a Q, shit, you got fucked up. You got fucked up. You had 6 weeks they was fucking with you. The Q's was hard. And you had some motherfuckers like the Swings got kicked off A&T because they made all the girls eat out each other. One of them told. They put the swings as grooves and swings. If you ain't never heard of them, the grooves and the swings. The real niggas tended to be grooves. None of that shit appealed to me. And you know, you got to pay to be in the fraternities. Like you live in a frat house, you got to pay for all that shit. It used to be like 800-900. When I was in school, it was like a couple hundred, 300-400. Like fuck them. Niggas like, well, you guys won't have to pay if you come in. I only looked at it as a way to get out of spring practice. Because my sophomore year, I got sick. I got food poisoning. Like the night before, check this out. The night before with my girl, I busted 10 nuts in 11 hours. No, 12 hours. I busted like 10 nuts on this girl. Iris. She went to UNCG. The next night, so that's one night. Walk back to campus, go to practice, eat, go to practice, go eat. Got sicker than I got food poisoning from the cafeteria. So I'm laying there with her. We about to have another marathon session. I fucking got to get up and throw up. She's like, and she was I think she was happy because she's like, well, after last night, I don't mind just laying here, baby. I'm like, okay. Because I was fucked up. And I got out of spring practice. Because spring practice is only like 7-8 practices. Got out of spring practice. And the spring, I only played one practice, and then we had the spring game. In the spring game, I caught 2 touchdowns over the first team defense. Yeah. I was that guy sometimes. The brother you said that Nick talked about is Steve Coakley. Yeah, he got a video on exposing the black bootleg. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I haven't really, got into him. I really haven't got into him. I'll say that. My uncle on my mama's side says she got Omega symbol branded on him. Oh, remind me to tell you the story about how the frat tried to get me to join. Oh, yeah. They was always trying to get us to join that shit. Sigma, like my roommate was a Sigma, and that nigga got that Sigma shit burned into his arm. It was like this. That Sigma shit was big on his arm like this number. And he had that Sigma shit. And like, we had got him fucked up before he did it, because we was like, nigga, you play football. What do you need that shit for? And he's like, oh, I need it. They burned that nigga. Oh my goodness, that nigga was in some pain like a motherfucker. And we had got drunk and silly. We was fucking with him. We was really fucking with him and shit. We like, what did we do? We sat that motherfucker there bed in the middle, and we was like walking around that nigga just fucking with him and shit. We didn't leave that nigga alone while his shit was burned. And I know that nigga was hurt. Yeah, I know he was hurt. It was like this nigga never played football after that. Or at least never played for A&T after that. And before every game, you can go back and look at my videos. LeBron James shows the hidden hand. And here this nigga is, doing that throwing this up. There's no pictures yet of LeBron being a Mason, but he probably is a Mason. And this is a drunk Mason. I don't know who this nigga is, but he looks drunk. I mean, look at these goofy niggas, man. Like, these niggas is robots. Look at them. They don't know better. I mean, they really don't know better. Look at these niggas. Like, this goes back to Uncle Tom and kissing and trying to be like them. All this. All these people. They don't know better. Oh, that shit took me to something else where you can buy the shit. Okay. Didn't want that. Okay, I didn't want that. All right, but look at this shit. I mean, it's just like I got like my ex-trainer. Like, these motherfuckers don't know better. Like, they're like this is a prime example of people whose minds are really shut off to what's really going on. They don't see it. They don't see it. They believe everything these people tell them. And these guys ain't all bad. I ain't saying they all bad, but because a lot of them don't get all the information. And let me break this out. Let me show you some real shit. And this comes from my brother. I'll give him all the love on this. Oh, I can use that right there. Oh, it didn't give it. Okay. Yeah, right here. I can use this. This is what I want to use. Okay, check this out. Yeah, spiritually, you can get to this. Spiritually, this is a gate. All right? This is a gate. And you ain't got to do all this shit to get into this gate. But this is one of the gates. And this is what they make you think to get into it you got to do. You ain't got to do that shit to get into this. But this is a gate. This is something that you can open up and you can see if it's something in there for you. But it definitely don't come from all this shit. Don't come from none of this shit. But that's a gate that is open, that you can open, that they try to make you think, like Bobby Hemmett used to say, make you scared of your own shit. There is a gate there with that. And hey, that's my brother's work. And so it's not, they make you think to go to the gate, you got to be part of that shit. You don't. Same here in Iowa. Here in Memphis and Arkansas, Mason temples are close to police stations, of course. Same here in Iowa, right across the street. Yeah. Oh, Butler, look at that. Yeah. I told you my story. I told you the story of what is this nigga's name? Little Beaver Combs was this nigga's name. And to tell the whole story, Beaver was one of my guys. He was we had a group called Cool People. We was really trying to help the neighborhood and shit. And we was the basketball team. We had our summer league, and winter league, semi-pro team. I played with Cool People, and Beaver played. Well, maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just coaching and shit. I don't know. But anyway, this nigga's not with us, but to tell, give you a little bit of this nigga's personality. This nigga had done time. This nigga was from Texas. And this nigga would always say, soon as he got into Texas, crossed the Texas border, he said the motherfucking Texas Rangers would find him. Some kind of miracle way would find him and follow him back to his mama's. That's the story he always told, how bad a man he was. Some kind of union worker, did construction. He built one of the bridges, I think. And my funnest story, and I'm going to tell his story, and then I'll get to the other part. But I'm going to tell the story about Beaver. So one night, we were just smoking weed, listening to some Curtis Mayfield impressions. I'm so proud of being loved. We just impressions, smoking weed, drinking. And all of a sudden, we hear crash, bang. So we walk out of my backyard to the main street, and we see this European. He ran his Seville into the curb and flattened all 4 of his tires. So these niggas get up, and this is 20, Keelan is 21, so this might be 22 years ago. Yeah, these niggas get up and walk to the payphone. And while they're at the payphone, one dude is making the call and talking to people. The other dude is like doing like this and shit and doing kicks at him. And so while the dude is talking, these niggas is drunk. Like straight up drunk. So while this dude is doing all this and kicking at him, the dude just kicks the dude in the balls. Dude was down for the count. But to finish the story, 15 minutes, a tow truck came and picked the car up. Another car came and picked them 2 goofy niggas up. No cops, no report. No cops, no report. That's my story with Beaver. Now, Beaver, like this was during my fucking rave. Motherfuckers used to give raves and shit. This was my raves. What was the little pills called? What was the pills called? The motherfuckers make you feel and shit, What was that shit? Ecstasy. Yeah, I robbed this nigga. This nigga was always brag how much ecstasy, and these are so much a pill. Nigga had about, let me think. He had 400 of them. And the deal, it was like for some thousands. And yeah, I took them all for nothing and took the bread he had on it. I was like, okay, let's see what you got. Because he used to ref with us, and I knew he was a mark. And that motherfucker came with that shit, and I took that shit like, fuck it. Matter of fact, we used to still ref together and shit. That's how much a mark he was. He ain't had nothing behind him. He didn't get it loaned from anybody, and I took them motherfuckers, and I started giving raves and shit. Getting old factories, that had electricity and give a party. All you got to do is buy. Back then, all you had to do is print the cards, have a factory with electricity, buy water, buy the glow sticks. That's all you had to do. And have a DJ with some big ass speakers, and motherfuckers will stay there for hours, and you can sell what the fuck ever for hours. So, I was reffing, playing semi-pro basketball, having fucking selling whatever, mostly selling powder, weed, crack now and then. And Beaver came to me and he said, and like y'all said, in Battle Creek, Michigan, you have City Hall, you have the police station, and in the same parking lot as City Hall is the Mason Hall. And they offered me this Mason Hall to throw parties and shit. It's like, look, you join, make money. That's what he told me. He said, they want to make money at this place. You join, it's yours. And I mean, this is a gigantic motherfucking building that's downtown. This is what they, I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, okay, I'm like, fuck you. I'm not doing this shit. But that's what they offered me. He's like, we know you doing things. So they was telling me I could have raves in the Mason Hall. That's what they was kind of telling me. They was like, they want to make money. They see what you're doing. I'm like, well, everything I'm doing, I'm doing a lot. And they was like, they with it. This is the story I'm getting from him. He's like, just join. And he was a Prince Hall. And this building still exists downtown Battle Creek. And Battle Creek was so stupid. They were so stupid. Let me tell you how stupid this place was. When they were bringing undercover people, they always put them at the same hotel. Or excuse me, the same apartments where one of my girls worked. And so, like, we always knew the new narc. Then they only had one way they came into the police station. So anybody that had the police station, Woods was near. So it was easy to watch the place. I mean, this place was so little that, like, if you wanted to watch who was narcs and who wasn't and who was coming to the police station, you could sit somebody in the woods with binoculars and pretty much see the comings and goings. But it was just tripped me out that the only thing they thought, they break in narcs and use the same apartments every time. Yeah, so you see I'm here. I never got caught in nothing, never got stopped with nothing. But it just... hey, baby, I'm talking too much. Fuck them. That's what I say. Fuck them. Because I know some cops that got rich off dope. That ain't a new story. And that motherfucker is probably, the motherfucker I knew that got really rich off dope, that motherfucker is probably somewhere on a big plantation. That nigga got super rich. I ain't gonna say his name. I've said his name years past. I ain't gonna say this nigga's name, but this nigga had all the dope hemmed up. This cop, he had all the dope hemmed up. I remember my father told me a story that they tried to, because my father was a personnel director. So my father, I was like, well, what about Wayne? What do you think about him? He's like, oh, Wayne is okay. Wayne, he didn't take the dope. They had a bust and Wayne didn't steal the dope. And I'm thinking, Wayne already has dope. So you're telling me you tried to set up a guy who's already at key level selling, even though he's a cop. He was he a sheriff then? But you thought he was good because he didn't steal the dope that he had a chance to steal. Yeah. And I was like, I just laughed. I'm like, okay. So that makes him a good guy. He was already up to key level selling as a cop. So it was a bunch of cops that was dirty than a motherfucker. So, I saw a bunch of them. And I saw some dumb motherfuckers get arrested, and I saw a fake arrest, they'd put word out, so-and-so got busted and to be fake. And I saw, I saw the cops' influence. I saw, like, for some reason, he didn't like this nigga, this bitch's man. And he would always arrest him. He let her sell. Never did nothing to her. They raided the house where they lived together. They lived together. It was actually her house. They took him to jail, bust him. Said the scale with residue on it was all him. He was on probation or some shit. They never touched her. And I'll say this, this goes to being smart. I had a partner, and the niggas, if he's alive, he's all fucked up. He's had a stroke and all that shit. But this nigga probably did cane every day for 30 years. But he only sold powder. Like when we was all powder people in the 80s, that's all he ever sold. The street behind, all the dudes that was great hoopers and yeah, all these niggas got hit. Years crack. Straight up, this nigga only sold powder. And that's what Jesse Jackson was always saying. Like, you get caught with crack, you get caught with powder, it's a difference back then. So you can tell who they was going after. And remember, what they did is they took away all the union jobs in the North, Midwest, and replaced them with crack. That's what they did all across the country. That's what Snowfall tries to tell you. But Snowfall doesn't tell you the social economics of the people. They don't tell you a lot of these jobs was taken away in the 80s. I mean, motherfuckers forget Gary, Indiana was a steel town, just as much a steel town as Pittsburgh. And goddamn, if the steel that came out of Gary didn't help win World War II, I don't know what to tell you. Joe Jackson used to work in there. That was common work around there. My aunt's husband, her father. This is how far back. His father was a union person in one of them steel factories. Took away all that industry to places where there wasn't no unions, where niggas would be happy to make less because they wasn't doing shit either in them Nebraska and them other where they took them factories. It's like I've said before, when I worked for Johnson Control, we had a factory in Alabama. Them niggas wasn't making, they're making the finished Mercedes doors. They wasn't making what we was making. The person that did my job, and I was management, I was motherfucking quality control lab manager. My equal down there didn't make near as much money as I made. And I wasn't even in the union because I was management. I couldn't be in the union. But my union guys that came with me, shit, they made way more than the people down there in Alabama made. And it was interesting. It was like these motherfuckers, I'm like, okay, they make the finished doors. The doors they make is the doors that's going on the cars. Matter of fact, I had to go down there and I set up their light room because they didn't have a light room. I set up a bunch of lighting rooms, because under different light, things look different. I can just give you a little small example here. Let's see. It's probably all right there. Just look how much, just a little bit I changed. Okay, right there. See how much brighter it is? But I set up, lighting rooms. And one thing I learned about engineers is, okay, if the engineer wants to go with something, put it on the form. Because a product came in and I was like, we had made a bunch of doors and I looked at it, I said, okay. And they was like, we don't know if this is going to pass. Because we made most of the door, they put like the rest of they put the steel part to the door together. We made the inside of the door, they made the steel part down in Alabama. So they're looking at this and this is failing. Everything they do is failing. My people is flunking that shit as I had taught them. And I sat there with the engineers and they looking at it and they're very concerned because I don't know if it was 2 shifts for me being gone. I don't know. I was off. I come back. This is what I see. These motherfuckers done made a couple hundred doors like this. And so, the doors aren't passing. Finally, when somebody tested the doors, it's like, wait a minute. So they had to shut the shit down. And I come in. This is what they show me. And so, they're panicking because it's, they got to make these doors again. That's laws of money. But I had set up the lighting down there. No, let me take this back. At that point, I had not made their dark room. I hadn't set it up. So the only lighting they had was a certain lighting. And so I took the top engineer and said, come with me. Let me show you how they're looking at it. Took them to my dark room, through the lighting that they had. I said, look, this is how they're going to see it. This is the lighting in their factory. When they look at this part, this is what they're going to see because of the lighting in their factory. I had to gauge all that shit. At that point, they had no other lighting. So I already knew. I'm like, so for them, this is going to pass. So even if they're quality people, when they took it in, it was the same lighting. At that point, I hadn't set up their dark room yet to give it because there's different hues of lighting, of course. But that's a way to like, okay, you want this, you're panicking, I can save you money. This ain't that big a deal. When they look at it, they're going to accept it. And that's what they did. They fucking accepted it. I already knew they would because this is what they're looking at. And later, I went around and I set up their dark room, where they had the different, because that's how you really have to look at things. You just can't look at it in one light. You got to look at it in a bunch of lights. So to see if it passed. I had a thing like when they would bring in vinyl, I had a machine that I would just put on the vinyl. And if the shit didn't pass, they had to take that shit back. And I've said, I rejected like 3,000 parts. And the man, I made him, me and him went through all the parts. We measured all the parts, and it was like those 5 or 6 I rejected. That was it. The rest of them was good. But it was like they put me in a situation where, it was my decision. I'm like, I rejected the shit. Because I ran 7 parts, and out of this 1,000, these 7 is fucked up. And then they tried to talk shit to me, when I let them go. Me and dudes sit there, and we did every part. It was like 5,000-6,000 parts. We sat there and we gauged them all. And it was only them 7 parts that I found was bad. The rest of them was good. So Signed for it. They signed for it. We passed them. But it made that company come to see me. Do you understand? But that's kind of how it works, you know. Like it's fascinating to watch, you know, be in the auto industry and watch how full cars are made. Like the Lincolns used to be made in Wixom. Wixom is a Detroit suburb. I know Nick would know where Wixom is, but Wixom is where they made the Lincolns. And so it's interesting to see all them Lincolns getting finished, you know. And I used to work for the motherfucker named Prince. You know, the visors and shit. The nigga that made the light visor is a nigga named Prince. Nigga named Prince from Holland, Michigan, invented the light visor mirror visor. So, you know, when you look at your visor and you can look at yourself in the light and the mirrors there, it's somebody that invented that. Nobody else had invented it. What they just invented was just regular visors. This is the dude that put the lights in them in the mirror. He invented that. So they had a whole enterprise, and Johnson, they end up buying them. They end up buying Prince. So we was seeing all that shit. I remember seeing the first, what was it called? The first, that ugly ass, Plymouth. What was that ugly Plymouth called? The ugly Chrysler PT Cruiser. I saw the very first one made. And then the Thunderbird, we did the chassis for the Thunderbird too. So I saw the first Thunderbird and that, what was that car? Tony had that car. So I saw those cars that shared the same chassis. Because a car, and I've said this before, a car is actually 5 years old. A brand new car started 5 years ago. It takes 5 years to put a car from, now again, I can't speak electric cars, but a normal production, the way they switch over, it takes generally 5 years from scale to production, you know. So, and so your car ain't really new. Doe Eyes, thank you for joining. I didn't see you. And I know you definitely got to have vision. Well, Doe Eyes, you know the Eagles won. You see me, Chuck Bennett, Derek. I'm all, you know, dripped in Eagles, definitely. And did I tell y'all, I broke my gold chain. I got to get it fixed, but it's going to cost me about 60, 70 bucks for that little piece. But I got to go do it. I just keep forgetting. Keep forgetting to go do it. And I go to Jewish stores and be like, hey, I might want that there too. Bootlick, definitely. B Brown, same in Mississippi. B Brown is in the house. Where's he at? I didn't see him. B Brown, what's happening here in Memphis and in Arkansas? Mason Temples. Oh, that's B Brown. What's happening, B Brown? Thank you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Got to have vision. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm on one. I mean, it's funny, and Dr. Umar Johnson definitely said it. I mean, now football, like when they do the games in England, that shit come on, you know, I live Central Time, so that shit comes on 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And football don't get off till 10, almost 11. And it's, you know, that's 12 hours that most of us sit around and we watch. Now I'm cleaning, I'm cooking. I end up making some potatoes. I had a couple steaks I had to cook for my daughter because my daughter had 2.5 hours of baton tonight. So after the end of the Broncos game, you know, I was watching the game in the car while I was taking her. And so, you know, I'm still moving around all day doing stuff. But I mean, you know, if you can get in the habit of just sitting around watching the games. I mean, if you're not like, I can't say I'm hyper, but I just can't sit there. Every 4 or 5 minutes, I got to get up and do something in the house. Like, it's always something to clean. It's always something to straighten up. You know, that's me. I watch the game and then I stand. That's one thing I love about these Apple Watches. Because they tell you, nigga, you need to stand up. I like that shit. It tells you to stand up. And I'm about to get the big one that you just, motherfucker call you and just, yeah, what's happening? I like that. I think that is stiff. Just like somebody call you and just, yeah. You know, you got your buds in, you just, yeah. Or the watch, you know, you just do like this and start talking in the watch. You ain't gonna do it, but just like this. That shit, y'all, have you guys witnessed that? That shit is smooth. That shit is smooth. Motherfuckers got that shit. They just do like this and they can start talking. Phone ringing, they just do like that. That shit, I like that shit. So I'm gonna start wearing 2 watches. I don't know. I don't want to wear my other watch, and it might get me arrested. I don't want to wear it because I can't really tell how I got it. I didn't steal it or nothing, but it's like, yeah, it's an asset. And, you know, they like, man, how did you get that asset? So I don't even know if I want to wear my good watch. It's fine in the vault. Yeah, that's all I need is like, where did you get that from, and where's the taxes on that? Because gifts, they want to tax you for gifts sometimes. You know, give you a gift and they want to tax it. So don't see it, you know, I don't have nothing like that. But you know, if you see me when I'm out dressed, you know, motherfucker got everything on. The minks and all that shit. I definitely look like, I go out and wear all that shit. I look like a motherfuckers from the 80s, you know, up in Detroit in the 80s. Like I said, motherfuckers would be like, where the Flynn's at? Where the Flynn's at? That YBI made that popular, but the Errol Flynn's, they are the ones that started that shit. But the YBI people, that's where that became popular. Where my Flynn's at? Where my Flynn's at? But that was YBI. You go to a party, motherfucking YBI. See, Snowfall didn't say nothing about that. Or not Snowfall, the shit with Meech. They ain't say nothing about that. You don't see none of that, huh? You don't see none of the carjackings either, huh? YBI invented carjackings. You don't see none of that, though. They don't show that story. It's all about dope. Al Prophet. It's just dope. And, you know, they made a movie about carjacking New Jersey Drive. It's the stupid shit you see today, taking the Kias. When YBI was taking cars, it was about cutting the cars up. I've talked about this many times. You never know. You would take a car, you would steal the car, take it to them, and depending on the car and how much the parts were needed, you never know. A motherfucker might, you know, you thinking you gonna get 400 or 500, maybe $1,000, motherfucker might hit you out with 6. Be like, oh. Might hit you out like they start parting. That was before they put VIN numbers on most of the car. They was just starting to do that when I was becoming a cop in 89. So they wasn't doing that shit in 79, 80. They definitely wasn't doing that shit there. Wasn't no VIN on regular parts. So the cars, you know, they look like clunkers, but the car was more valuable because you could part them out. And so that's why niggas was stealing cars. That's where carjacking comes from. Niggas in Detroit was knocking motherfuckers out the way, taking their cars, getting it cut up, and getting paid. That's how carjacking started. Not that New Jersey Drive stupid shit that you see today. Niggas taking Kias. Why? Why are you taking them cars? You know, that makes no sense. Why are you taking those cars? What real value do those cars have? And those cars, you know, at one point they wasn't even insured up here. They quit insuring those type of cars. And I got a Kia dealer near me. I got about 4 or 5 dealers near me. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, this is a strong beer. I noticed I was more talkative tonight after drinking 2 of these. I was really talkative earlier. It was like, oh shit, that buzz is coming in here. But and I wasn't you know, I like talking about debauchery. Debauchery is all around. Oh shit, I got beer left. Okay, and I don't know if there's any debauchery. But I don't know. You know, it's like I guess my point is there is no point. But no, I'm just saying, you know, just because football and all this entertainment is on, don't get caught not doing nothing all day. I guess that's my point. I mean, stay healthy, eat like an adult. Let me tell you what Killer the Flower Moon said. I got to tell you this because I forgot. Okay, the main character is Molly Burkhart. Molly has diabetes. You know what the doctor told her? They said, Molly, you have to quit eating like white people. Do I need to repeat that? The doctor tells Molly, you have to quit eating like the white people. So she ate a diet. Again, that, you know, the book tells you more of Hale's involvement of high sugar. And by the time she was in her, I guess, 30s, from living around Europeans, first generation really living around them, she got diabetes. And that was interesting that the doctor told her that. And it's almost like they get it too, though. They get it too, but it's almost like your diet is meant to give people diabetes. That's what the story tells you. But that's interesting. It's like you can't eat like white people because Europeans get diabetes too. But that I forgot to bring that up. That was an excellent point. Again, she wants to, again, having a European man as a status symbol. Same as I watched my daddy do it. My daddy in the late 70s. See, my dad is a poor little boy from Mississippi. And all my life, my dad was this. This is what's interesting. When you look at the psychology of a person, one time, again, my dad, one room school, both my dad and my mom, one room school. Every grade is in one room up to junior high, of course, but so. And he had to wear a pair of swim trunks, and he was ashamed. And he told my grandmother, everybody in school's gonna, know I got swim trunks on. He's ashamed to wear them. Goes to school, he gets teased. That was that nigga for the rest of his life, though. He really cared what other people thought. I mean, me, I'd have been like, yeah, you right. They slim trunks, but your mama's a hoe. I would have always had something to say back. That wasn't that cat. I go back to my mother had a car. Again, my father's 2 years younger than my mother. My mother graduated in 59. My father graduated in 61, the year I was born. So, my father graduated in early June. I was born in late June. So I'm only 18 years younger than this nigga. All right. So she has a car. She has like a 55, 56 Bel Air. They moved to Kalamazoo. My mother's working for Bell. He's working and he's going to college at Western Michigan. One day, this nigga comes home with a Volkswagen Bug, brand new one. Do you guys know what a 1963 Volkswagen Bug? Those cars did not have heat. You remember that? Cars don't have heat. They're air cooled. Like you watch Porsches today, you see the Porsches that are air cooled. You understand? Car doesn't have, you got a child and you buy a car that doesn't have heat. You got to scrape the windows from the inside and drive, because the way those cars were set up is they thought that if you blow the heat off the engine, it would defrost the car inside, where it wouldn't. And I told the story. My stepfather's not much better, because my stepfather bought a Volkswagen bus. And again, these cars were made without heat. Remember, the Volkswagen bus, the engine's in the back. Just like Volkswagen, the engine's in the back. We had a kerosene heater. And those of you who watched me for a while, I've told this story. We had a kerosene heater in the motherfucking van. Bus, whatever you want to call it. Know what happened if that kerosene gets hit with people in that car gets in a crash, and you got all that kerosene? That is a fire trap trying to kill people. But this is what they sold. So I tell the story about my dad in the Bel Air, because later in the years, he was like, his dream car to fix up old car would be a Bel Air. Somebody teased my dad, because again, this is 1963. The car was probably from 55, 56. Somebody teased that nigga. Oh, Pomek, you driving that old 55. You should get you one of these hippie cars. Because, the Volkswagen, the Hitler cars was the hippie cars. That's all it took for this nigga. It was my mom's car, but they was married. So, joint property. Didn't ask her, just because, again, he's the little boy that got made of wearing the shorts, wearing the swimsuit. So he gets this inferior car. And the bad thing about it, when they broke up, my mom is my mom's. The other car was my mom's. She got this car when they broke up. So it didn't really benefit him, but it was his ego. It's that same little boy that wore the swimsuit. And like, this nigga now, again, dementia seems to run in them niggas. And, my stepmother is joy, joy, joy. Like if you look at Richard Pryor and his wife, Jennifer, when Richard Pryor's all fucked up, Jennifer's happy than a motherfucker. Richard ain't fucking everybody. He ain't fucking men. He ain't getting fucked by men. He ain't fucking men. Because Richard Pryor was all that. He was abused as a child. She just got Richard Pryor, in a wheelchair. That's how, that's my stepmom and my dad. She got him all to himself. Now, I'm sure some of you see some similar types of situation like that. But a nigga just quit getting hoes because they got old. Then they need to be taken care of. You quit being a dog because you got old. It was like I was listening to somebody and they said, you know, you want to be like grandpa and grandma? Grandpa beat grandma's ass until he got old and needed to be taken care of. And that's what you want to emulate? Forget where I heard that, wherever the sister is. I'm sorry that I'm gonna use a little bit of your story. And that's a lot of what it is. Like this bitch is happy in a motherfucker. This nigga's, you know, gotta be led around. Control. So what's the difference when he was doing that shit? You know, when he's getting hoes and being out there. He had control. So it was about control. You see what I'm saying? It had to be about control. Because for you to be perfect, he wouldn't have did that shit. But again, for him to do that shit, you would have had to had more control. But it took this nigga to be senile to now, you know, have control. Do you see that dynamic? And for some motherfuckers, that's okay. And you see it a lot. It's like we had a death in the family. One of my cousins' wife just passed. My younger cousins that I grew up with, their mother just died of 93. They say of some type of cancer, but again, she was 93. Her brother was supposed to come to my wedding. He's 89. He is 89. Her brother is 89. And when this woman, I mean, her skin was so perfect, like her daughter, I mean, they had the best. You never knew how old she was. I knew how old she was, and she was older than my mother because she had older children like my aunt had. Like Spike had to be my cousin Kevin or my cousin Ronnie's age. So, you know, them niggas was damn near 10 years older than me. So she had children that much older, but she just passed. And she was married to my great aunt, my great great aunt, my great grandmother's sister. This would have been one of her son's daughters, the wife, excuse me. And so that comes through the King family. You know, niggas related to me through the King family, they're kings. And I'm pretty sure her maiden name is King. Or no, her married name is King. Yeah, her married name is King. Her maiden name would have been Atkinson. Yeah. Atkinson. So she just passed. So he's not coming because again, but his wife is coming, she's 78. But he was one of my stepfather's good friends. And so I understand. This motherfucker 89 years old, still likes the Lions, you know, still takes him a nip, still with us. So I'm happy that he's still with us, if you understand. And I'll say this about my dad. My dad always had older friends. Like now everybody calls him Papa. And one of his friends used to be called Papa. And that's interesting that he copied that name, you know. But again, you know, they changed Nana or Gigi. Gigi means, you know, they've taken away the word grandmother. It's Nana or Gigi. Isn't that interesting? Women didn't want to be grandmothers anymore. So they took the Mexican name Nana. And that's only about 35 years. Nana is only about used by all Americans 35 years ago. Because I've gauged that. That comes from when my nephew was born. My nephew that passed. That comes from him. He would have been, I think, 30. My son's 34. I think he would have October. Would he have been 36? So he was born in 87. That's only from it. Nana's only from 87 for all the country that says that shit. You ain't say that shit before then. Not before 87. Gigi is only my daughter's age, 17. So the ones that call your grandparents Gigi, that's only 17 years ago. But Nana, by everybody using that term, only goes back 37 years ago. So 87. For 87, I never heard that. I never heard that before my nephew was born. Never. And again, my brother's ex-wife, my nephew's mama was taking she majored in Spanish. So use that. This was a social thing they changed. They got rid of grandma because grandmas want to still compete with the daughters. So they don't want to be called grandma. Nana is not as old sounding. Like I called my father's mother Like my mother's mother, I called her Grandma Hazel. I called my father's mother by her last name. I called her Grandma Macon. Grandpa Macon, Grandma Macon. My great grandparents is Ampies. I called them Grandpa Ampy and Grandma Ampy. I didn't know nothing else. My stepfather's family, Grandma Johnson, Grandpa Johnson. I didn't call them by their names. I called them by their last names. And that seemed to be acceptable. Because none of my cousins called, none of my cousins said Grandma. What was my, like Grandpa was Grandpa Edwin. None of them said that. They said Grandpa Johnson, too. They're natural grandchildren. They said the same thing. Grandpa Johnson, Grandma Johnson. And they was all Johnsons. So, but that's how long that is. They took away. Y'all don't want to be grandmas no more. Y'all want to be nanas. It sounds like you're not as old. Yeah, I don't get that. And it's funny, you fuck up in life and you think you're getting away with something and you really don't. Because I didn't pursue, my daughter. I didn't pursue her to come in her life, pay child support and be in her life. I didn't pursue that. But, I'm friends with her on Facebook and I see her son playing football. Now, the guy that raised her, he's a little bit like this. He'd back up for people. So that he had no football in him. So do you see how it comes to surface? There's something inside of him that wanted to make him play football. I don't know how big dude he is. His grandmother, she's a short girl. His mama's short. It's just me. It's just he got my height and I'm only 6 foot. I was about 6'1" before I started shrinking. But it's still interesting to see that none of them people ever played football. Like her brothers, none of her people played football. He wanted to play. So, see how it comes out. And she lets me see this, so I'm thankful for that she lets me see that. Like, okay, where do you think that came from? Where's that heart come from? And I bet he'll smash a mug. Again, I don't think he's going to be a very big dude. But he's going to have heart. So, I come through in other ways. You understand? I come through in other ways. I don't know. Should we find some debauchery? How long have I been? God damn, I've been talking for an hour and a half. Man, I know y'all probably bored the motherfucker. Like, this nigga's talking. What is his point? Oh, yeah, it was some debauchery. Yeah, there was some debauchery. Ooh, I might have to show this debauchery. I'm going to have to show this. Just to fuck with him. Yeah, I'm going to show this. This some real debauchery, but this ain't really debauchery, but I'll show this anyway. I got to pee anyway. Is this long enough for me to pee? Yeah, probably so. Okay. This is local.
Palestinian rally this afternoon.
No injuries have been reported and no arrests have been made, but video of the incident is spreading on social media. It all happened around 3:30 near Loring Park, and that's where we find our Courtney Godfrey tonight. Courtney, you talked to a witness. You have some of the details of what occurred.
Yeah, I did, Randy. Protesters shut down Lyndale Avenue here along the Sculpture Garden when allegedly a driver pushed through the crowd. At one point, that driver wielding a knife.
Hold up. He not going nowhere now.
Cell phone video captures the moment a car drives through a pro-Palestine protest in Minneapolis. Witnesses describing how the white sedan drove through protesters who were blocking Lyndale Avenue this afternoon before getting stopped by a blockade of cars a little further down the road near the Walker Arts Center.
He gets back in the car, he hits a car, hits some more people, not enough to harm people, but just bumping them out of the way, pinning some people up against other vehicles, and then that's where my video starts. He's flying. He probably reaches 60, 70 miles an hour until he sees and slams the brake. Oh, there's another blockade of vehicles.
Local activist and Ward 13 City Council candidate Zach Metzger shot the video you see here and says at one point the man got out of the car wielding a knife, but then retreated back inside.
People were kind of confused. Some people wanted him, just let him through, get him out of here, and other people were trying to harm the man, right?
Metzger says he doesn't want to make assumptions about the driver's motive or whether it was on purpose, only saying it was a...
Okay, I heard you niggas. This nigga's not related to me. All you niggas is talking about that looks like somebody related to me. That nigga's not related to me. I don't know this nigga. This nigga, I heard y'all. This nigga looks like a younger Kaepernick. This nigga's not related to me. So quit saying this nigga looks like he's related to me. I don't know this nigga. He's got a little Hebrew Israelite kind of look, but this nigga's not related to me. What did his shirt say though? What the fuck did your shirt say? What'd your shirt say? Trying to read that shit. So anyway, somebody had a knife. But you know what? And I'm gonna say it. Like George Floyd, the one thing George Floyd did, it made all the melanated people pissed across the world and said, y'all on some bullshit. I mean, if George Floyd, and I don't think they meant it to go around the world. They really didn't. I think they kind of helped it come along. They didn't think it would have the reaction it had. And it stopped that COVID shit. They didn't talk about COVID. That's one thing I hate I lost about my other channel. I had a bunch of local shit that was great. Like when they was going to the post office, they was handing out post like it was Christmas presents. Niggas broke into the post office and handing out mail like it's Christmas presents to niggas. But George Floyd went all around the world and said, we're tired of you European behavior against melanated people because it's less of them. When they say fear of a black planet, that's what it was. Some point, this was just melanated folks and they came from somewhere. And I definitely meant to, you get mad about that shit. Y'all came from somewhere else. When they talk about reptilians and shit, you see European looking folks. When they talk about tall white grays, big eyed grays, they look more like them folks than anybody. You don't hear them saying, well, it looks like a nigga. You know, the guy took us, looks like some niggas took us. You don't hear that, do you? I'm talking shit, I know. But it was some debauchery here. Some niggas got shot up in here. Where is it? Is this here? No. No, it wasn't them. Was it Carrie Levin? Because the shit was fucked up. Yeah, right here. Here we go. And, I was up here I was up here last week. Oh my goodness. This shit is just, reading this shit is so funny. Debauchery sells. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This happened. I think this is St. Cloud, so I wasn't in St. Cloud. St. Cloud isn't that far away. I live about a couple hours.
Tonight, St. Cloud police are investigating a fatal shooting at a home near St. Cloud State University. It happened just before 4 this morning on the 700 block of 6th Avenue. That is just a couple blocks from campus. Neighbors tell us that there was a house party at the residence and then they heard rapid gunfire. Police say the dispute led to a 34-year-old man being killed. 2 other men, one 52 and the other 26, were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. But police say that several witnesses
This is what amazes me.
Hospitalized with non-life.
This is what amazes me. So, like, where's the other shot of it? Where's the other shot they did? They're a little further back. Where's the other shot? So, like, you live somewhere and that just goes. Like, nobody cares about this. I'm sorry. We got to get this to Sly. What are we doing? They don't give a fuck about their house.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
They are renters. They are renters, so the renters don't give a fuck.
What are we doing?
They don't give a fuck about the house. It's like how like they had to break. It looks like somebody had to break in and take this window out, and the people live there like, well, fuck it, you know. But this looked like it's part of the garage. So like, does this go into the house? Is that why they had to break in here? God damn! How you just gonna let that go? I just don't get that. Look. It's on the garage. So somebody needed to break in the house, so they broke that window out to get in, and that door to the garage is probably never locked. Or this is a little room, I don't know, but like this is not a terrible neighborhood. I mean, it screams like looking at this house, this is a rental property and it's about 90. What, this is Duluth? Yeah, this might be about 60 in Duluth. Yeah, all these houses is like, this is a duplex, so it probably, 80, 90,000, but this right here is like 50, 60,000 up in Duluth. It's, yeah. But yeah, so this tells you all you need to hear. Two motherfuckers got shot there. Are we surprised? When it looks like that on the outside, we're not surprised. So, but there was some more debauchery. It wasn't just that debauchery. It was other debauchery. Where's the other one? Damn, this is debauchery. Right here is definitely debauchery. This is definitely debauchery. I forgot about this one. This is definitely debauchery. Okay. This is debauchery, y'all. Definitely debauchery. Check this out.
Big story out of Nevada where a former Minnesota Twins pitcher was arrested in connection with an alleged murder and attempted murder. Sammy Selena explains what we know.
Explain it, Sammy. Explain it.
Danny Serafini, a former Twins relief pitcher, was arrested in Nevada yesterday in connection with the deaths of his in-laws in 2021. They say 70-year-old Robert Gary Spoor was found dead from a single gunshot wound, and Spoor's wife, 68-year-old Wendy Wood, had also been shot, leaving family members with so many questions.
Our whole family is just in disbelief that this could even happen.
The couple was found shot inside their home in California, according to local.
These niggas wasn't broke. God damn, look at this house. These niggas wasn't broke. Why they shoot each other? This nigga look like this in California. Look at this crib. I was thinking maybe this nigga was broke and shit. This nigga definitely wasn't broke. Look at this crib. God damn. What the fuck is going on, Europeans?
In California, according to local officials, Wood survived but died a year later. Investigators released this surveillance of a masked man in a hoodie entering the couple's home in hopes of answers.
We do believe that masked individual was in fact Daniel Serafini.
Placer County officials say Serafini was arrested along with the woman. It's unknown what her connection is, but said she was an associate of the family.
And Dan Serafini's heart is beating a mile a minute.
Back in 1992, Serafini was drafted in the first round by the Twins. He was a relief pitcher for them from 1996 to 1998. He left for the Cubs. He also played in Cincinnati and Colorado before retiring in 2007.
He was a journeyman, but it sounded like he got pension.
Placer County Sheriff is waiting for Serafini and the woman arrested to be extradited from Nevada to California. Morgan, well, tonight we are also...
God damn, this motherfucker had a nice crib. What killing each other for? What y'all killing each other for? Yes, beatbox. Thank you for joining me. I think this is the first time you came in.
Got to have vision.
Thank you, Jesus Saves, for coming in.
Got to have vision.
And let me tell you, they gave me a copyright for the Bernie Mac. I'm not scared of you motherfuckers. It's not owned by the Bernie Mac family. It's somebody that made this video. And when I talk about them peoples, you want to hit me with a copyright. I've been using that. I've had this thing for almost a year. I have this Tascam mixer for almost a year. You've never hit me with it. All of a sudden, I played the same little bit that I play all the time, but I talk about them peoples and you say, use this. And that's what Sly was saying. You know, y'all can just bring up anything, anytime. Richard Pryor family ain't came after me. Richard Pryor family ain't came after me. The ones that own the Richard Pryor stuff I play, they ain't never came after me. So that Bernie Mac shit is better than the Richard Pryor shit? Fuck no, that's it. You know, Bernie had, yeah, but memory shit that lasts forever. Bernie didn't have a lot, but that's what I play. So, you know, if you don't want people to remember that, okay, fuck you. I can clip it and play just very little of it. Because I can still get my part out. I'm not scared of you motherfuckers, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I don't have to play the whole thing to get the part that I want people to think about. Right here. Yeah, this is it. Right here. I was looking at this.
We're working to learn more.
Man, I'm going to tell you. And this lady's probably a nice lady. But you know how television is. Like, I knew when 4K came, she was going to be in trouble. She hasn't used a lot of Botox. I think she got her nose narrowed, it looks like. Not a whole lot of Botox, but yeah, look at this. That shows her age down there, that neck. She's had her neck tightened, but you still see that looseness down there. But this wasn't a very pretty woman. In 4K, yeah, it looks like she had a little work around her eyes too. I didn't notice that. Yeah, she's had some work done around her eyes. So instead of just getting Botox, yeah, because this is not a very pretty woman. Good reporter, but not a very pretty woman. The 4K, yeah, look at what they do. This woman is probably damn near in her 50s, and look at what she did to herself. She definitely did her eyes. I never noticed that. She did her eyes and her nose. And they had to tighten some of this up, but you see where they got this looseness at the neck that really shows her age. The things you do, but let's go. This is debauchery that happened here a day or so ago.
Working to learn more about a shooting in North Minneapolis that happened yesterday. Police say they are investigating a shooting on Oliver Avenue North. Our photographer was there as MPD taped off an intersection a block away on Newton Avenue as they look for evidence. Video from the scene shows lots of evidence markers and vehicles with bullet holes. Police tell us the victim was a juvenile, but with non-life-threatening injuries.
All right. I thought there was more to it than that.
The next generation of streaming is here.
Let me see. It was more of it. Let me see. It was more of it, I thought. Man, when I took my son, I had to go take my son to go get his tux on. We gonna look good in the motherfucker, y'all. We are gonna look good. And when I was taking him back home, I told you, you know, it's like up here, it's highways. When you live in, like, it's 3.5 million people in the Twin Cities, all right? We're the 16th biggest city in the country. So you take that what you want. We have 3.5 million people here. So this is a major city. So where he lives takes me generally about, it took me, I think, 35 minutes because some of the shit was cut off. And I had to take him to the nearest Men's Warehouse. So I had to take him from Minneapolis north. So I have to leave from Burnsville. I have to go north into the city. I mean, go into the motherfucking city, pick him up from the north side, take him west to Maple Grove, have him get fitted, which is, you know, it takes what it takes. Take this nigga home and then drive home. It was like, it took me like 4 hours to do that shit. I left like 2 something. Yeah, I left 2 something. When I dropped him off, it was like 5 something. When I dropped him off, it was like 5 something. I wasn't gonna do that shit with traffic. You know, and then he had told me, you know, it's his partner's birthday and shit today. I was trying to do something, so. Yeah, so 2 weeks from now, well, the 4th, I'm getting married, so we're gonna have a big party. Yeah, I've gotta put all the new stuff together. You know, much as I hate to do it, I'm probably gonna have to let my son move in here. I don't want to do it. But you know, you are parents to young adults, and when you got it, you know, sometime. So I don't know. So I've got to move this equipment to another part of the house. It looks like that's what it looks like, and like I've got 3 closets in this house. Matter of fact, 4 closets. I got a lot of clothes. That's me. I'm gonna be like that Samuel L. Jackson movie. Remember when he was old and shit? He had all them clothes. He never wore it. Then when they gave him the medicine to come back, gave him the shots that brought him back and shit, and he had all the clothes, the suits and shit. That is definitely gonna be me. They're gonna find boxes of shoes, boxes of coats, clothes. Yeah, that's me. Hats.
Got a bunch of hats. And these ain't even the hats that's in these storage bins. Thank you, PJ Allen, for the storage bins. I had that PJ. I was like, damn, you put that shit. My shoes won't fit in that shit, though. My brother-in-law got shoes in them storage bins. That nigga wears about a 10. 13 and 14s don't fit in them motherfuckers. So I couldn't put my shoes in them. My feet are too big. So, and I'm still deciding what I want to wear for the wedding. Let me see what they called. Let me see. They're not these, but oh yeah, they're not these, but I'm gonna show these motherfuckers anyway. No, oh okay, there might be that pair. Let's see. Is it this pair? What is this? No, they got newer ones than this. It's the newer shit. It ain't this shit. But it's like, okay, this is knit. This pair I'm looking at is patent leather, but they got this shit underneath. And if you look at the Nike store, yeah, they're 210. It's not the fly knit, it's the patent leather pair. So whatever these are called, and I don't even think it's better than this. The bottoms is better than this. And they're patent leather. And I think I'm switching. Or, because I'm not wearing no goddamn, I could get gaiters, but I'd rather get fucking, or, let's see, or these. I might have a little contest. Or, no, motherfuckers ain't got them. Oh, right here, okay. These. Now these. Yeah, these. No, not those, no. Oh, this ain't the right shoe. These are 21s. This ain't right. Why you say 22s? Yeah, it's 21s. Show the 21s. Okay, where the white ones at? I don't know if this would match plum. Do y'all think this would match plum? Because my vest and my tie and my handkerchief are going to be plum. I think this is too purple, but they got these in white. They got the 21s in white. And the difference between the 21s and 22s is these right here. See, like right, watch. See right here where this one only has one? I mean, look at the shoe. I mean, that's really the biggest difference is one eyelet. You see how they put the two here? And one thing you can look at every shoe is they use the same, like all the Nikes got this. So I'm thinking about this in white. I'm thinking about wearing that with white. So either the fly knits in white patent leather. I don't think this is purple enough. This ain't plum. Down here would, but not here. This ain't plum enough. So, oh, I'm sorry. I ain't showing you. I'm sorry. So right here, this is the 21s. This is the 20s I got. Well, I got the blue ones, but you see how it's just one right there? But if you look at this, that's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. You see? They ain't really did a big change there. A little more ventilation, but they put the two eyelets. So I'm sorry. But this in white. I'm thinking about this in white. They got this in all white. I didn't know they had the white one. Or, let me see. I don't see any Jordan 38s up here. Let's see. No Jordan 38s. I love LeBrons. I mean, I've got 7 or 8 pairs of LeBrons. I got these. I ain't got this fuzzy shit. Like, it ain't these fuzzy ones. It ain't these. But it's like, it ain't even these. I got the purple ones. Yeah, it's this. But it's not this. I got the purple ones, like the Laker colors. I saw these. And these, I saw these at $70 one time. And you see what they charging now? 230. I saw these about $70, but I got these. So I got a bunch of LeBrons. But where's the Jordan 38? Let's see. Go back. I think it's Jordan 38. Yeah, here they are. Yeah, this Jordan 38s. I don't think you can get adults in that color, but let's see. You can get these in all white. Well, not all white, but you can get these where this is white and it's just a little bit of black trim. So that's what I'm thinking. This would probably go better with the tux, but with the purple, with that red, I don't know. But you can get these where this is white and just a little black trim on the toe. Surprised they don't show it. Let's see. And I got these, the Oreos. So they look more like this. Yeah, I got these. So I could wear these too. I got these. And I don't wear them that often. So these are the Oreos. So I do have those. So I could wear those, but I think it's gonna be too cold. Yeah, these are children. Where's the whiter ones? Oh, here we go. I saw a dude up in Duluth that had a pair of these. I kind of laughed. But it's not this color. They come with a purple color, but it's not coming until after Christmas. So this is what I'm thinking. And I saw a dude wearing a pair of these up in Duluth. Thinking about wearing these to get married in. So, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. And those is just the shoes I showed you. They're the same shoes. They're them other ones. The LeBrons. It's like the same, like the LeBrons I just showed you. This stuff is right there in the LeBrons. And then they kind of leathered this out. I mean, it's interesting. And then they put these these are the 10 or 11s eyelets here, the way the strings are. So you see, how they changed them. See, it's the same as here. You see how they did the eyelets? And I know these released them a couple weeks ago, but you see how they did that? And then they incorporated into this, see? But this is what I'm thinking right here. But I don't know, I'm thinking about the LeBrons. There was another pair they coming out with, but they're coming out with a purple pair, but not till after Christmas. So I'm thinking about them. I'm gonna go out to the mall, see if I can buy a pair instead of ordering them. See if this is in the store. If not, I'll just order them. They come that day. You know how that shit go. So, question, Big Pontiac, the First Avenue venue still open? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Shit, yeah. If they didn't have it already, they was having a big party down there for the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Maybe they had it. I'm not sure. But yeah, First Avenue's still open. When I went to the state championship, look back, I showed a picture of it. Look back like last March. I showed a picture when I was at the Target Center watching the basketball finals. First Avenue is right across the street from there. So yeah, it's still open. It's still open. Prince thing, you can go. It's costly, but Prince, I live by Prince Place. I told this story before. When I lived out in what's that shit? Eden Prairie. When I lived in Eden Prairie, where Greg Jennings probably still lives out there. But when I lived out there, Prince lives in, his place is in Chanhassen. I didn't know it was this place. My son was like, "What are you talking about? You don't know where Prince lives." We passed it every day to go to work. And it was like, I didn't realize that place. It's fenced in. It's on Chanhassen. I think it's on 7 or 5, maybe 5, Highway 5. I think Highway 5, that portion they call Prince. But it's costly. Like my daughter's mother went to see his stuff 2 weeks ago. And they paid, where she works for the casino. So, casino got unlimited money. But she went and saw Prince's stuff. But yeah, First Avenue's open. Like they had the hip hop thing. I haven't seen anymore, so maybe it's already happened. But they had 50 years of hip hop down there. It's always shit. Like their Reggae Fest used to be great because they let people smoke weed during the Reggae Fest. So I used to go with that for years. But now we go to a place called the Dakota. Older people go to Dakota now. It's more kind of jazz. But yeah, that's more of a younger place. First Ave is more of a younger place. I go to a place called the Dakota. Very good music. I saw Prince there. He did 3 shows and I was kicking it with somebody. and she had tickets, and we were like, and this place is very intimate. It's a small place. Like, they opened the back up, so maybe 60 people eating at tables. Maybe 60 people, if that. He did 3 shows, and I got to see one of his shows. I saw the nigga though. First time I saw Prince was I went to 2 shows in a row in Greensboro. I used to work with a dude, Greensboro Coliseum. He was one of the ushers, and he got tickets and shit. So he got me tickets for both nights. So I saw him Purple Rain. What's that? 83. Round before, maybe it was after Purple Rain, I'm guessing. But I saw both shows, and I went to both shows. He turned it out. No, I saw him first with Rick James. I forgot about that. When I was a freshman, I saw Prince and Rick James. That was the first time I saw him. Prince and Rick James turned it out. You didn't even notice. I mean, Prince did a good job, but yeah. It's like Prince grooved and Rick James came on. It was like, forgot about Prince. I mean, Rick James was a motherfucker. Y'all miss Rick James. When Rick James was, I'm Rick James, bitch. Shit, on stage, Rick James was on point. Listen to his music when he does Tina Marie's music. Listen to the music. Listen to the way he sets up, producing. You hear that, he big into funk, and funk is horns. People forget that. Funk is horns. And Rick James, I mean, you can hear that, and that's part of funk. Horns is part of funk. I mean, Fred Wesley, why? The Horny Horns that played with James Brown and George Clinton. Funk is horns. If you understand. So Rick James, 79 Rick James. Yeah. If you didn't see your 79 Rick James, you wonder why people acted the way they did around him. That Rick James, I'm Rick James, bitch, because that motherfucker on stage was a motherfucker. Yeah. So I saw Rick James in 79. That's why I remember we played where the Giants played. We was up in the Meadowlands, and that song was I'm in the big time, all success is all mine. I'm gonna have myself a ball. Do 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 do. I'm born to funk. I was born to funk and roll in the city. And I remember sitting there, and the locker I'm sitting in was motherfucking John Jefferson. I'm sitting in the motherfucking locker that John Jefferson that played with San Diego had the week before. So when you think a nigga was like there, it was like I'm looking at this shit like touching it. And then we're seeing some of the Giants players because A&T, we had a couple, one of them's Harry Carlson is in the Hall of Fame. We had a dude, what's his name, brother, Smalls played for the Giants. Harry Carlson played for the Giants too. And we was playing South Carolina State. And Harry Carlson played for South Carolina State. He's in the Hall of Fame now. But you when you get a taste like that, it's like you get the taste. You get the taste. You get the taste of it. Bobby Humphrey plays the Black National Anthem, lift every voice and sing. On the flute and shit. It's still probably only 10,000 people saw the game. The bottom level in the middle was packed. I heard that motherfucking Eddie George was pissed because 3,000 come watch Tennessee State. Tennessee State is FCS football. Jackson State is FCS. That shit I went to see Duluth, FCS, not FBS. So you might only get 2,000 people, Eddie. Be happy that you got a contract. Be happy you got a shoe contract. A&T is 1-6 in the CAA. They got to get the recruiting money and build up the facilities, but they'll get it. They'll get it. They're FBS. Hampton, trying to think. I think that's only 2. Maybe Delaware State went 2. Maybe not. But ain't many. A&T's one of the few. Hampton and A&T, one of the few. HBCUs this Division I football. A lot of them basketball. You coloreds, you guys are good in basketball, so they let some of your schools come in basketball in the 80s, Division I. You colored boys really can jump high. You know how you do. And so they give you basketball since the 80s. That's right. Hey, B-Box, what's happening? Oh, let me see how I can do this. Oh, okay, right there. No, I don't want that. Am I going to have to move it? No. Right. I can't get. All right, somebody else say something on here. They need to ban that play. It's rugby. I'm a don't last ape. Okay. Well, thank you for joining. And this late, you definitely got to have
vision.
B-Box, what's happening? You got to have
vision.
Okay, somebody else say something so I can get B-Box to move the thing. So yeah, be happy. You think when I played and then it was bad weather, like that was Gold Bowl year. Like really, we had them beat. We had Howard beat. We were supposed to play Howard and JFK, and that's tore down now. And JFK is off of where did my sister-in-law live? Over northeast, right off the Beltway. Oh, where was JFK? Benning Road. Y'all in DC, Benning Road is off the Beltway. JFK was off Benning, and you go by JFK and you go to Benning Road. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called for DC people. And because it rained, we played on their practice field. And they scored on us. We blocked the extra point. It was 6. We had a play where the quarterback faked everybody and was running for a touchdown. They blew the whistle. And we ended up losing 6-0. So we ended up going 9-3. But yeah, we played them under some fucked up circumstances. Definitely should have won 10 that year. Yeah, I can't get to that. Nope. Don't really need that. Yeah. Okay, I'll just wait. So yeah, it's you play just to play. Like you look at the study of the ABA, it's like nobody was going to them games, but yet you had people who took it serious and dominated. Like I talked about Spencer Haywood the other night. This nigga's 6'8", 6'9". He's getting all the rebounds and he's scoring 30 plus every game for 80 games. Blocking 3 or 4 at a power forward. He ain't shooting threes. He's going everything to the hoop, getting rebounds, putting it back up for 80 games. Woo. Spencer Haywood was a bad man. Like Connie Hawkins, when he won the first ABA championship, he had a pretty good team, and his knee was fucked up. He played the finals with a fucked up knee. This nigga turned the ABA out with a fucked up knee. Connie Hawkins had hurt his knee. Again, look at him. Every picture you see is wearing cons. The bad thing about playing in Rutgers, you playing outside. In cons. So, by the time, he was 25, 26 in the ABA, 27 maybe, I think 26. This dude had a bad knee, but still was able to put that juice on him with one leg. That's why I read that book, Foul. It is a great historical thing of the ABL and the ABA and how they blackballed him and they slowed down the advancement of the game. That's what they did. That move with Connie Hawkins, again, the Knicks was going to get Connie Hawkins, Roger Brown, and Doug Moe. Because of the way the NBA was. So in 1964, they were going to get Connie Hawkins, Roger Brown, and Doug Moe. All right? Because it was called territorial draft. Was where you were born. Not where you went to college, where you were from. That's why Wilt stayed with Philadelphia. That's where that nigga was from. Now, Bill Russell got drafted in, but they had a thing called territorial drafts. So all 3 of those players would have fell under that. They called Roger Brown the man with 1,000 moves. And what you see Dr. J does in the 70s would have been done in the 60s with Connie Hawkins. And it's sad, and I'm, as much as, what you saw, Dr. J type of player, which later turned into Michael Jordan, was invented by Connie Hawkins. Again, Connie Hawkins invented the Michael Jordan logo is Connie Hawkins because Connie Hawkins invented the spread eagle dunk. John Calipari, I think that's the football player. The coach is St. John something like that. He describes it with Connie Hawkins being in high school. He said Connie Hawkins took off from the free throw line. He did it sideways. Michael Jordan kind of scissors his. Connie Hawkins does what's called the spread eagle dunk. When you carry the ball up here and you spread your legs, that's called the spread eagle dunk. And just because you scissor the legs, it's still the spread eagle dunk. For those niggas that ever been able to dunk, that is a dunk. Because I guess there's some people out there never experienced dunking a basketball. So technically, Michael Jordan copied Connie Hawkins' move. And that's can't be argued. Yeah, he copyrighted the shit and he uses it, but Connie Hawkins invented it. That's the reality. So, and we just, we see what it is. We see the energy used. And again, that energy would have went in 1964. And then remember, Dr. J didn't go into the league until 77. The leagues didn't merge until 1977. So that type of basketball, even though it was in the ABA, it wasn't really in the NBA. You had a couple guys, Gus Johnson, Step and stuff, but not what Connie Hawkins came down with. They called Connie Hawkins' dunk a hook because he would bring it high and then he would just slam it on them motherfuckers. So, oh, let's see. Can I get it right here? Maybe. Oh, yes, I can. I can get it right here. Come on. Why is it not doing it? Why isn't it doing it? That's odd. Very odd. Oh, maybe I gotta bring it over here. Let's see. I didn't think so. But oh. No, I'm gonna tell you. Oh, okay, I can do it over here. Good. Okay. I can do it over here. All right. No, not till I got older. Like if you go into, let me see. Let me find it. I was at my height at my tallest, I was like maybe 6'1.5", probably 6'2" with shoes. And I had a 47-inch vertical. And so, let's see, right here. And like this picture, okay, I can't get the picture. Let me see if I can just get the thumbnail. No, I can't. But I just bring out all of them. But like, if you look at this picture right here, me playing, like this picture, you see me sitting in the middle? And right here, I'm about 6'1". I'm 15 years old. But if you look at here, this picture, I'm in the middle. And then even if you go up here in this picture, I'm in the middle again. So I play center. Again, I'm blocking everything. Like this dude who throws the ball in that picture. This is a true story, 2 years in a row. And this guy was one of the best fucking baseline players. He killed everybody. So this is the climate, and this is the whole climate. So my junior year, we got like 50 inches of snow. The city was pretty much paralyzed. We didn't go to school damn near 3 weeks. Like we went out of Christmas break. No. Yeah. We went into Christmas break. We hadn't been to school like 3 weeks. There's so much snow. But our first game, we were still practicing. Now, this is odd. We weren't going to school. We was practicing basketball. So our first game, we're not in school. But what's fucked up about it is my best friend had got shot in the face with a shotgun. Like February? Nah, it had to be. He got shot in January. Yeah, because he was there for that first game. Yeah. And I've said that before. That took the humanity away from me. When my friend got shot in the face with a shotgun, it took my humanity. It made me look at the world different, and like some of the violence I end up doing, I know that helped me. Going through that, it made me colder to the world. But yeah, he came. By the time he might have got shot before Christmas, now I think about it, because by the time he was healthy enough to come to the game, and that nigga was in the hospital for 2 or 3 weeks. So he got shot early my junior year. We had started basketball. Yeah, so he got shot somewhere yeah, so he probably got shot like October. And he was in the hospital and up to the first game. So they brought him to the first game. And this is I had 30 as a junior. And one of the players, they made him like one dude said the all-time Kalamazoo Hoopers. I scored 30 on one of the niggas as a junior. So if he was all-time Hooper, what'd that make me? And I scored 30 on the nigga. But anyway, first play of the game, me and Ricky Duvall are standing on the baseline, pump faking. I knew he couldn't out-jump me, so he's doing all that pump faking. When he releases it, I catch it on the board, take it, fast break. A year later, same place. We're seniors in the same exact position. This nigga's head faking me like it was going to be a different outcome. This is how the game starts. A year later, we're in the same place. This nigga tries to go up. I pin his shit again on the boards. True story. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't give it to you sooner. I'm sorry. So no, but you know what I did? I'm gonna tell the story. So basically play center. I like posting up. I was unstoppable posting up. My junior year, David that I played with that ended up playing center, he was 6'5", but that nigga had a J from the top of the key. So he really didn't have any, David didn't want to be in, like he didn't want anything on the baseline. He didn't want any of that middle game. He wanted to shoot his J from the free throw or the top of the key. That was David. In one game, that nigga had 28 points and 28 rebounds. That's how good that nigga was. Another nigga I grew up with was so mad, like David didn't came, I would have been this. No, I was happy that David came because the next year we didn't hardly have anybody. So David was a motherfucker. David Wilson. That one game we played my cousin. My cousin had 36. David had 28, but he had 28 rebounds. I had about 10 or 12. I'd have to look in the book. But yeah, David was a dog. But that's why I loved it. Like that game, when I scored 30 as a junior, me and my teammate had played horse all week. Like after the game or before practice, me and this nigga would just play horse. And he could never make that little baseline, elbow bank. He couldn't make that shot. So I would beat him every time at that same place. So it's like me and him were playing. I'm like, you can't make this shot on either side, nigga. I'm gonna kill you from the. So he just, that was our thing. We would just play horse. We get into the game. That nigga feeds me on that elbow. I don't miss. First half, I don't miss. I'm getting them feeds from the elbow. I'm killing them. They never adjusted. I had 30 as a junior from us playing horse. This is my guy. David's at the top of the key. I'm at the elbow. Or even like we had a kind where we would constantly move. Like, the way we would constantly move. So if I moved and I was at the free throw line facing the point guard, when I would switch to the elbow, my boy would wait. He'd hit me right there. And I killed him from that spot. But blocking Ricky shot like that, how often do you see some shit like that? I mean, this could be, like how often could the same exact thing happen 2 years in a row? I've often looked at that as that's not now normal. I'm telling you, that's not normal. Me and Ricky being at that same spot and doing the exact same thing, that's insanity. It's like the nigga knew I could block his shit, so why didn't he pass it? Because he knew. It is like I blocked his shit, not just blocked it, but pinned that shit. Give me that. So, but no, this is what I ended up doing. My last game in the tournament, I said, fuck you, and I played point guard. And we end up losing. A lot of the guys just choked because we won our first game. We won our first tournament game. And when we came the end of the year, I was like, look, nigga, I only got no chance of being a 6'1" center. So I'm playing point guard. I was the best assist on the team, best person to assist. And the first playoff game we had in the district, I set the record for 11 assists in one game. And that was me just getting most of the rebounds. I think I had about 15 rebounds, and I was just catching it. My boy was breaking. I was hitting him, but probably still exists. I probably still got the tournament record for assist for the school. And then we played a much better team, a team that lost in state. Both their point guards was all state guards. And I found out one went to Alcorn and Gillespie went to Big Rapids, whatever that school is called in Big Rapids, Ferris State. Found out too, like Ricky and Henry went to Ferris State. Niggas didn't stay. It's like my nephew went to North Dakota, and I'm glad he left because that was the most depressed place I ever been in my life. It was like everybody I looked at looked defeated. I'd never been in a state where everybody looked defeated. North Dakota, everybody looked defeated. And I knew it was a broke country because, as I said before, in Minnesota, the states merge. Minnesota, we got wild grass. It's just wild grass. They cut that shit. Do you know when they roll up the balls of wild grass they sell to farmers on the city property, the state property, the highway, transportation? These niggas is cultivating that grass. This is how broke North Dakota is. They have to cultivate their empty grass on the highway. It's just funny when you go from one state to the other. You see in Minnesota, they ain't doing that shit. You go into North Dakota, they're cultivating the grass on their highway. That's how broke of a state. And it looked like everybody was defeated. I talked to one woman, I was with my woman. I wanted to holler at another. I was like, hey, tell me what's going on. I wanted to see what the woman was thinking of. She's like, I'm defeated. Nah, I'm just talking shit. I am just talking shit. Hey, there's my man, Bishop Mack. And I know you're always one who controls your bitches.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
And you definitely got
to have vision.
You definitely got that. Oh, I've been going 2 hours. Golly, I've been going 2 hours. So, my last game when we lost, I played point guard. But it's like, I got to show somebody I can handle the ball. I had already set the assist record, so I had to show people I can handle the ball, and it just was stupid. I'm a senior, and they ain't thought about playing me guard because I'm the best athlete on the team, and that's what it turned out to be. I played center because I was, again, look at this picture. I'm in ninth grade here, and I'm playing center. Look at this picture. I'm playing center. He's taller than me. The other guy boxing out is taller than me. The guy behind me. Like this picture up here. They're all taller than me, but they weren't better athletes, and they couldn't block shots, and I was taller with an afro. But that just shows you, I had to play inside. But I liked it, And as I played semi-pro, I developed, I could shoot. Like that's one thing I loved. In 94, I moved here. Shit, we hooped high level. We hooped. I didn't play any leagues, but I hooped so much. When I did go back to Michigan and play leagues, my shit was like high level shit. Till I pulled my groin. I tore my groin. But up to that point, I was giving it to people. And then when my groin healed and I finally moved back to Michigan, my shit was on. I had played so much. I mean, we went to state tournaments like every year. It'd be niggas from ex-pros and shit in the men's, semi-pro state tournaments. You playing against pros. Motherfuckers getting paid doing that shit. So, I got that chance. So, yeah, I developed the point guard skills, and I could shoot. I could still shoot. You watch one of my older videos, I'm shooting. I could still shoot. Where is the... There, let's look at that. There's a couple other things. Where is it? No. God damn. David Chappelle destroys pro-Israel hacker. I'm going to say about that is, melanated people are tired, and we're not easily fooled. And we're not going to be fooled where, we see melanated people attacked, and we're just supposed to jump on board. Because we know how the beast is. The beast always plays both sides. The beast is both sides. Now, from outside looking in, it seems like you created a way to try to annihilate them people. And finally, you had a final solution. That's what it looks like to me. Like you figured out your final solution. Right? Because that's what you want. You want all those people expelled. You don't think they have any right to be there. And the rest of the melanated world ain't looking the same at y'all. They looking at them peoples like, we not really with y'all. Where is it? See if I can find this. If I didn't erase it. Ooh. I want to read this. Yeah, okay. This is changing the subject. But I mean, saying, melanated people aren't for them peoples anymore. We see your deceit. We see your lies. We know where you get your weapons from.
So if them people got to hustle to go get weapons from somewhere, that's just part of it. They was left, so it ain't like y'all don't track where these weapons go. Y'all left weapons in one country, and you think y'all didn't know where they went? You think they didn't put any trackers on them weapons? It's like, okay, we're just leaving them. We don't, no, you got the technology. You know where that shit went. When you left Afghanistan, you left a lot of agents in the back too. We know how that goes. So we know, you know where the stuff goes. So you sent that shit there too, because you play both sides. But I want to read this. Scientists, after decades of study, concludes, and I'm trying to tell y'all, free will is a trick. We don't have free will. It's a trick. Before epilepsy was understood to be a neurological condition, people believed it was caused by the moon or by fog in the brain. They condemned seizures as evidence of witchcraft or demonic possessions. Today, we know epilepsy is a disease. By and large, it's accepted that a person who causes a fatal traffic accident while in the grip of a seizure should not be charged with murder. Same thing. If you have a heart attack, you get in an accident, the accident kills the person. And I'm going to spoil a little bit. That goes into the fates. That goes a little bit into the fates. And you know there's no free will if you look at the fates. That's good, says Stanford University neurobiologist. And let me get his name right. Robert Spolsky. You niggas looking up niggas is Robert Spolsky. Let me spell it again. Spolsky. After more than 40 years of studying human behavior, he reached the conclusion that virtually all human behavior is as far beyond our consciousness control as a convulsions of a seizure. The division of cells or the beating of our hearts. This means that accepting that a man who shoots into a crowd has no more control over his fate than the victims who happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. You see, he's putting fate in there, the fates. It means treating a drunk driver who barrels into pedestrians just like a driver who suffers from a sudden heart attack and veers out of their lane. This world is really screwed up and made much more unfair by the fact that we reward people and punish people for things they have no control over. No control over means no free will. We got no free will. Well, let me read in context. The world is really screwed up and made much more unfair by the fact that we reward people and punish people for things they have no control over. Social economical. We've got no free will. Start attributing stuff to us that isn't there. A MacArthur Genius Grant winner is extremely aware that this is out of position. Most neuroscientists believe humans have at least some degree of free will. Free will don't come from science, comes from occultists. Free will comes from occultists, doesn't come from science. It's not a scientific word, it's a cultist word. So most philosophers and the vast majority of the general population, free will is essential to how we see ourselves, fueling the satisfaction of achievement or the shame of failing. Saying that people have no free will is a great way to start an argument. This is partly why Spolsky, who describes himself as majority adverse to interpersonal conflict, puts off writing his new book, Determined, a Science Life Without Free Will. I'm really trying not to sound like a combative jerk in the book, he said. I deal with human complexities by going and living in a tent. So yeah, I'm not about a lot of brawls. Analyzing human behavior through the lens of any single discipline leaves room for the possibility that people choose his actions, he says. But after a long cross-disciplinary career, he feels intellectually dishonest to write anything other that he sees the unavoidable conclusion: free will is a myth. And the sooner we accept that, the more just our society would be. Now, if you want to read this, again, it comes under psych.org.
psych.org, where it comes from. You want to look it up? Again, his name is Robert Sapolsky, Sapolsky, and give me your arguments. Free will comes from occultists, doesn't come from scientists or psychoanalyzers, psychologists. Free will don't come from that shit. Remember I showed them pictures of Alvin Pike? Masons? Remember? Picture of Alvin Pike? That's the free will most people today talk about. The free will he talked about. Do as thy will. Right? So we're talking about the 1890s. And that ain't, Alvin Pike wasn't no scientist. So free will is a trick. And it plays more into what is this? What is this? It plays into that. What is this then? Because you can look at the fates. Motherfucker go out there and get hit by a bus. Look at his whole life. He's always unlucky. Why is that? I know a man that had a stroke in his early 20s. Bedridden the rest of his life. Why is that? What free will was there? What choices was he able to make in his 20s? I think he lived to be at least 60. I think so. Last time I saw him, I had to be 30. So he had to be 50. He probably lived into his 50s, but bedridden, hospitalized from the time he was 25, 24, 25. What free will did he have? Or is that fate? See, free will is a trick to think you have choice. And it is illusionary, but the good thing about this world being illusionary is predictable. That's where, the geometry people help, because this world is predictable. It's very predictable, and it's becoming more and more predictable as we go into it. Now, I pat my back on the shoulder. I'm the only one that talks about AI. This thing ain't AI. Call it by its name. Give it the Rumpelstiltskin because it takes the power away from it. It's the my. It's spelled M-I, but it's pronounced my. You see how it doesn't even want the AI name. It doesn't want to be called by its real name, the my. It wants you to think it just came about. Its artificial intelligence existed before we did. The my existed before we did. And again, American Gods, I've went over this a million times. Telegraph, telephone, TV, movies, phonograph, tape recorders. All this is the my's work to catch you up to it. They give you the Google glasses too soon. Hey, it's too soon. Again, what's that? Immortals. Remember Immortals? He wanted to give him the first steam engine. He tried to give you a glimpse of the first car, which is that steam engine the dude invented. The Immortals, I think it's called. Angelina Jolie played one of the gods, and the gods say, hey, remember he brought that up? And it's like, these people ain't gonna understand that. So what did he give him? The hole. He gave him the hole that you could pull behind an animal, because that's the development they were in. So if that ain't telling you the Maya ain't been there, that is what the Maya had to do. The Maya gave a few. It gave a few how to do things. That guy down in Florida did all them big ass limestones he moved. He was able to tap into a little bit of it. And it's a lot of natural energy, you definitely. Not a lot of natural energy that old civilizations. Hell, you can make a fire out of amber. Amber burns. Amber has a beautiful smell, but amber will burn. And it doesn't really leave like, when they look in the caves and say, why isn't any, candle burn, smoke or, yeah, amber burns clean. I bit that from a nigga. So I had to say, that's Bomber hit me to that, and I had to try it out. So I ain't like a lot of niggas. A lot of niggas be like, well, I invented that. Nah, nigga, if I heard it from somewhere else, I'll say. I don't need that pat on the back. I'm where I'm supposed to be at. But I mean, take this, free will ain't free. It's a trick. It's a trick. And again, if you look at social economical, you cut down a lot of free will by social economical. I mean, just think about this. There's the FBI TV show, and remember part of the one that Shamar was in, the newer ones. Remember they would profile criminals and stuff? Don't you know that they do that to about human behavior? So when they saw what freebase was and the way the entertainers were reacting to the freebase, and they's like, but freebase is still a little too expensive. They looked at human behavior. Then they go to UCLA and they's like, wait a minute. We can cut cocaine powder by using baking soda. And we can get almost, not quite base, but something that they'll love. You don't think this is even deeper. They went and got people and gave them crack and let them smoke that shit on UCLA's campus to see how the people responded. That first group was all they needed to know. Because when the first group left, you know the first thing they said? Where can we get some more? Some places, it wasn't called crack, it was called some more. Beam me up, Scotty. But some places it was called some more. You got some more? What you need? So they already knew this. And they knew how many niggas they was going to arrest. That's why they came with the crime bill that's connected to your president right now. They already write this down and know the outcome. You close these factories with these good paying jobs. And you know, what came in the 80s was, and this is from my Michigan experience and Chicago, the immigrants always left after the picking season. You know, all the sharecroppers that came in, the immigrants, they left during picking season. Well, when the economy changed and then factories quit paying $30 an hour, and then factories was paying $5, all them seasonal workers, because Europeans didn't want to do that shit because they know what they should have been getting paid. Niggas sure didn't want to do that shit. $5 an hour to work fucking in this factory, getting dirty and stinky. A lot of them sharecroppers started going in them factories. And a lot of factories, where I worked at Johnson Control, started recruiting people. Trying to get it was interesting to watch this shit. They was trying to get the Europeans fired. This one dude hustling was trying to bring all them Mexicans in he could. He was trying to, because he got my ex-wife fired. She threw a door at this nigga. Because it's like where I parked, being part of management, they couldn't really go into. But she hadn't worked there long, so she didn't really know. Her grandmother went in the parking lot. She got in the car and left. Next day, he was hassling her and wouldn't leave her alone. Instead of just telling her one time, he just kept fucking with her. So about the third time he got in her face, she threw the door, hit him with the door. Fuck you. I wasn't working there. I came in a couple weeks later. Her and her mom, her mom, we came in a couple weeks later. But that's what ruined it. But he was trying to get people out. One of my guys, during the strike, he got out. And the nigga was like, we was just hanging one day. We had to do a little production work. It was like one or two doors, not too many. And afterwards, we was doing something, and the Mexican cat said something to one of my boys, and my boys was like, ease up on that whip. That's what he told the Mexican. The Mexican got him fired for that. He told that motherfucker, damn, man, ease up on the whip. The guy wasn't our boss. We was all parallel, equal. He wasn't above us. We was quality. That's why, you know, the union people went on strike. We wasn't part of the union. And got that dude fired. But again, he was trying to get Mexicans in there. And they had a whole, they had, check this out. This Mexican dude bought this part of Battle Creek, 2 or 3 blocks. It was maybe 3 blocks. It was like 2 parallel blocks and then that corner, you know. So he had 2 blocks going down this way and then he had 1 block going that way where he owned all the houses. This nigga was doing rent-a-center Again, he was putting 15, 20 people in these houses, but he was doing shit like renting them TVs, renting them VCRs, renting them stereo, renting them furniture. This nigga had a setup that was some gangster shit the way he had it set up. But again, he was taking advantage of his own people. But it was like 20 people per house. And this technically 3 blocks. And he's renting them TVs and shit like it's Rent-A-Center. It's quite interesting to see. I must admit that. It was quite interesting for that. That was interesting. But again, he's taking advantage of them people. And you know, as them jobs eventually started paying better, you know, these people was entrenched in them. And it wasn't until niggas, you know, got desperate that they had to come back and work in them jobs. And by then, the jobs started paying a little better. But again, they wasn't union jobs. They had ran off all the unions. So you come back, you know, you're just working for the factory. You know, you're not in a union anymore. And that's what ended up happening to Johnson Control. And I don't think it's union to this day. And they don't make doors, they make seats. So what they did is, I know what they did is, yeah, I didn't think about this. If you know what a ricotta seat is, some gaming chairs are ricotta gaming chairs, but it's a racing seat. Ricotta is a racing seat. Ricotta was a factory at Battle Creek. And I didn't get this. Johnson Control must have bought Ricotta because Johnson Control, the same one, I used to be the quality control manager, now makes seats. So that's what it is. They must have merged and bought Ricotta. I didn't even think about that till now. Yeah, that's what must have happened. Because I asked my boy, I was like, man, y'all still make doors? He's like, no, we make seats now. So that's what they did. They bought Ricotta. Because Ricotta had made seats shit forever, since the 80s. So they probably a branch of Ricotta. I didn't even think about that. They quit making doors and started making seats. Makes sense. It's like General Motors, you know, the one my stepfather and my grandfathers worked at. When they stopped making big cars, that was the end of them. They was a stamping plant that started in 1960 and closed in 1980. 20 years, that's it. 20 years, that's it. And I look at Kellogg's. Like Kellogg's now, let me see if I can find it. I think I erased it. Kellogg's has sold part of Kellogg's. They're called something else. And I was reading, you know, how much was still in Battle Creek. And Kellogg's doesn't produce anything in Battle Creek. Post still does. Ralston, you know, they make dog food and cereal. They're still there. But not Kellogg's. Kellogg's is not in Battle Creek anymore. In name, but the main factories ain't there no more. So, but it was something I found where they've even split. Kellogg's has even split. Because Kraft, last I knew, Kraft on Post. Because we starting to see Post Kraft. It was like Post and Kraft. And then it didn't even say Post anymore. It said just Kraft. So I think they're under, you know, motherfucker on the New England Patriots, I think owns all Post. Maybe I'm outdated now. But at one time, I know he did. Kraft did own Post at one time. Fruity Pebbles and shit. And that's a hell of a memory, you know, when Post would make Fruity Pebbles, you could smell it. I mean, you really could smell it in the air. You really could smell it. The other cereals you couldn't smell so much, but Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles, but especially Fruity Pebbles, the whole side of town smelled like that. And that's something, you know, that if you ain't been there, you can't experience. It's a really, really, I don't know. I was like Northfield, or yeah, the place where Jesse James, they have a Post plant, I think it was. Was it Post or Kellogg's? I think it was a Post plant. I was surprised and had that cereal smell. The first live stream I saw, Not About the World, was Go Eagles. First live stream I saw, Not About the World, with Go Eagles. I don't know. Sack the ball game is not, the sacred ball game is not for the lame. My prayers and my avatar, simplicity is my light, man. First time a live stream I saw, oh yeah, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a big Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan since Roman Gabriel. I've said it before, my old coach, well, a guy from where I was born in Dowagiac, Michigan, he played high school football with my uncle, and then he made it at Western Michigan University. And Vern was 6'5", plays safety, mean, could run fast, good athlete. And Vern made it, he started for the Eagles. And Byrne tried to tackle Grant Hill's daddy, and yeah, that helped. He tried to tackle Grant Hill, and that was the end of his career. He played 5 or 6 games for the Eagles, and then but that was the first game. He was hurt when I saw him play. He was on the sideline, and I saw Roman Gabriel, Charlie Joyner, Roman Gabriel, Harold Carmichael. I saw all them play at Tiger Stadium, the old Tiger Stadium, not that new shit. The old Tiger Stadium, where it had the beams everywhere, where motherfuckers would buy seats behind the beams and shit. They used to sucker people like that, where you get the seat and your seat is behind the beam and you watching the game like this. And people would buy them seats. But I saw Roman Gabriel with the Eagles, the single with just the white jerseys and, not very, but. And when I left, I bought an Eagle pennant. I had that pennant, I had that pennant till 85. I bought that pennant in like 71 or 72. And I took that pennant to A&T. That and the Raiders. Raiders was my AFL team. Because my stepdad was like the one that got me always having 2 TVs. Because he'd watch the AFL game and had the NFL game on at the same time. So and plus the AFL started letting brothers in. And that's what people don't realize. Brothers wasn't really playing in the NFL like that. It was a restriction on how many players. The AFL was like, fuck it. And they went to, deep into the black colleges. Like it's a bunch of dudes that, when I would go into A&T that I would see, that all had played in the NFL. And so that was the good thing about, when the leagues merged, a bunch of brothers merged too. But Vern Davis, let me tell you about his knee. His knee, Vern was a good big guy, 6'5". Vern's knee was like this. Like I'd never seen a knee like this. Like his knee, I guess, like he used to play 21 with us or fight and just jump off one knee and could still dunk off one knee. But his other knee, like that shit was like this. Like I don't think he could bend it. Like he, walked with a severe limp. But I mean, his knee was the worst of anybody I'd ever known. And, this was young in my life. I saw guys later, I saw one dude's ankle turn completely the other way. Like his ankle was that way. Right now my ankles was facing this way. I saw a nigga ankle was that way. Then I played with a dude got his neck broke from Delaware State, where they literally had to bring a helicopter on the field and take him off the field because he broke his neck. But yeah, Vern's knee was terrible. And his son is a big minister now down in Charlotte. But the last time I saw, Mr. Davis, Vern, he's the principal. He had a master. He was a math teacher, so bright man. And he had built his dream home. And it's funny, where I grew up in Kalamazoo, wasn't too many melanated families. Now, the way they do things, it's nothing but a melanated area. But when I first went over there, yeah, it was, sparsely. 3-4 families in the whole area. When I moved over there was maybe 3-4 families. Now the whole area is melanated. But he had bought a house and had it built, and he had stairs. And his knee, last I heard his son told me that it was so bad that they had to get a ranch style house. So they had to move. They couldn't move in that, they had to build another house because he couldn't go up and down the stairs. Because I remember seeing him when he came down the stairs. Because the house, that house was, last time I saw him, the house was brand new. They hadn't lived there a year. I chewed the shit out of this one. Oh yeah. Okay. So, my that's, and I said my favorite time was when the Raiders and the Eagles was in the Super Bowl. That was both my teams. It was what they say, the win-win kind of thing. And the Eagles lost. But as I said before, the Eagles played the Raiders early in the season, and if I remember right, they beat the Eagles. The Eagles beat the Raiders earlier in the season. So I think that's why tonight's game was a replay. That's what I thought, before the game. I was like, this is probably the Super Bowl matchup, and the team that wins this game is probably not going to win the Super Bowl. So that makes me think we might lose 2 in a row. I hope we don't get like the Bills and lose 4 in a row. But I think we're going to definitely be in it. And Detroit, vulnerability showed. If you're faster off the ball where they can't control the run, so you got fast dudes that can avoid them big blockers trying to get all them not quite traps, but kind of trap runs. If you got quick dudes that can beat the run and they can't run on you, it's hard for them to get the passing game because it makes them one-dimensional. And if the Lions can't pass, they're one-dimensional. At least that's their script. They're depending on Goff throwing 50 times a game. That ain't gonna win. I mean, all the other games, and the one dude, Montgomery? What was his name? The dude from the Bears, Montgomery, got hurt for them, for the Rams, or Detroit. Excuse me. Detroit got the guy from Chicago, and he got hurt again, which was kind of his MO in Chicago. So Detroit was exposed. Wasn't impressed with the Ravens. Not really impressed with them. Defensively, like, yeah, the script didn't look good for Detroit defensively because they was letting a lot of plays go. Definitely letting a lot of plays go. Trying to think of the other game I watched. Did you guys see what kick was that? I did a video about that team. What kick was that? Where's my video at? What kick was that? Maybe I'll show that shit. That shit made no sense. I'll show that shit. I made a short of it. And I'll put my short up. But that kick, here it is. Here we go. This one, is this one? Yeah, here we go. That ball, I don't know what the fuck did this. See if it'll show it. Whatever moved this motherfucking ball. I think I got the right angle. Watch the movement of this ball. Did I move it or I fucked up angle? But that ball moved from left to right. Yeah, I guess it didn't show it good. But that ball, it was like that ball it went straight, and then that ball, let me see, is the other angle better? Let's see if this follows it. Follows the flight of the ball. Look at the ball go to the left, to the right, excuse me. What took the ball? Yeah, that's the better angle. What did that? What did that? What moved that ball so far like that? So something moved that ball wrong. And I'm sorry, this first shot I didn't get it, but that second shot I got a little better. Yeah, something. I mean, it was like the ball moved so unnaturally. Like there's nothing that could have forced it, that he kicked it could force it that hard to the right. There's nothing that him kicking the ball would force the ball that hard to the right. And if you watch the live, look at this. You see it unnaturally. You see the unnatural movement of the ball to the right. So we know. And like the dude, they mocked us where the dude hit the field goal post 5 times in a row. Remember that? The Bears kicker hit it 5 times in a row. That ain't natural. Where you hit one of the posts 5 times in a row. I mean, yes, guys are good enough if they want to hit the post, but it's easier if you have an attraction. You don't have an attraction there. It's a lot easier. So, it's up to us as people, to figure out the script. That's it. Follow the script, figure out, enjoy the entertainment. It's just like when I went to see Killer the Flower Moon. That's what sports is to me. I don't get mad. I point out shit. Like really, let's like Deion's last effort against Stanford. Now I got to talk about this. That guy that played UCLA, remember that guy that got 300 yards, 3 touchdowns against Colorado? You know what he did against UCLA last night? I think he had 3 catches. Saturday night, I think he had 3 catches for like 50 yards. He didn't have a touchdown. I watched all that game. You didn't even know he was on the field. Remember how easy the quarterback was making them throws and adjustments? They never ran slants with him. They never ran the slants. All the plays was deeper routes. Wasn't dominant. Wasn't all conference. But that's what you want to believe, that one guy scored 3 touchdowns in the second half. And Deion and them never made an adjustment. A defensive coach never changed the defense. Never say double team him. Roll the coverage to him. Never made the adjustment. They're just that stupid? No. That was the script. But you know what? What I said, they still won the ratings war that night. So do you think these money people care if Deion wins or loses? It made money. It made money. Regardless Deion win or lose, his team makes money. And you know what? Even if they lose, they're going to still sell out. Because what did they do? Even though they lost, they put on a good show. 43-46 is a good show. And they won their time spot. So do you see how they operate? Even when they lost, they still won. And of course, the overtop coverage, you know, that was going to naturally lax as the season wore on. That's everybody. But he still brought an excitement. And still, they're going to be on prime time next week when they play UCLA. And UCLA beat the shit out of Stanford. Stanford's not good. Unless you script the game for them, they're not good. Remember, they was 1-4 when they played Deion. Now they 2-5, I think, because UCLA whooped their ass. Chip, whatever his name is, got fired by the Eagles. Think he was with Commanders coach a little while, or wherever else he went, he got fired there too. And you know what's funny? I remember, what was it? DeMarco Murray was his name. The play, because remember, Chip got fired during the season that second year. It was a play where they needed a first down, and DeMarco Murray, who Chip got from Dallas, despite him having 2 million carries the year before, Chip wanted to fuck with Dallas and get him with the Eagles, which was the ego move. DeMarco Murray had nothing left. But DeMarco Murray was like, Chip, what offense you putting me in? You brought me here for spread? I'm not Barry Sanders that can beat people on these draws. I need a fullback in front of me. What the fuck you brought me here for? And DeMarco Murray rebelled. And it was a critical game where the Eagles needed it, and it was a screenplay to get a first down. DeMarco Murray dropped it on purpose. Chip Kelly was fired that Monday. I remember that game. It was like, you could see in Chip's face. He needed that play to succeed. He called DeMarco Murray. He missed it on purpose. He missed that screen on purpose, and that guaranteed Chip was going to be fired because they didn't get the first down. And sure enough, Chip got fired. Now Chip's at UCLA, but you see how they recycle all these old. It's a good old boy network for sure. Look at Brian Flores. Brian Flores gets fired from being the Denver Broncos head coach. 2 years go by. Now he's the defensive coordinator. How's that work? You didn't like me to run it all, but now you want me just to run your defense. Does that sound like real? Does that sound like real? Now, granted, the money, the bread they pay, you know, this is my job. Yes, I'll take this, step down. But if it was a real sport, that wouldn't happen. Dude's ego would be like, fuck you. You guys didn't want me. Ego would say, no, I'm not going to do this. But see, there's no ego involved because they know it's fixed. And that's why when they do the markings with baseball, they wanted the electronics for the pitcher and catcher, so they made a fake thing where they're hitting the bucket, so they're stealing signals. And the year before that, Darvish, I talked about this the other night, Darvish, well, I might have been tipping pitches. Makes you wonder about this shit. Makes you wonder about it. You dig? So it's entertainment. And it's nothing more but good entertainment. It's good entertainment for what, 100 years? 1926, we're going on, they're 100 years. I think it's 26 is when they say they started. Where's my book? I think the book's in the bookshelf. So they've been fixing it for a long time. It was never real. Never real. That's why I watch Ken Burns about baseball, the way they created baseball. They go in and they tell you, it's like, we're going to have a doubleheader. We'll win both games. We'll come to your team. We'll let you win both games. That's how they started fixing it, to get people attracted to it. Because they knew that if their team lost every time, people ain't going to keep coming back. So that's how it was started. And it was started with the players. These players were going from town to town, playing locals, teaching the game, playing locals. The players controlled it. And then the owners come in and say, well, we think they're throwing games. And they need to be controlled by owners. This is how the owners came in. Baseball, early baseball was players' game. Wasn't no owners' game. The owners said, which was being done, it was fixing games, but it wasn't being fixed by owners, it'd be fixed by the players. So they again put propaganda out there and they told the public that the public needed baseball teams with owners. This is how they took it away from the players. They embarrassed some players, said it's fixed, which it was starting to fix. That's why they went so hard on the Black Sox players. That's why I call my stuff 1918 Black Sox. The players know it's fixed, but they wasn't getting paid. So they found a way to get paid in the fix. The players were tired. The players knew it's fixed, but they wanted a part of the fix. And then the owners wasn't giving them part of the fix. Look at Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb said the World Series of 11, 12, 13, 14, all up to Ty Cobb says all the World Series was fixed from 1912 to 1918. Study Ty Cobb. It's in there. Ty Cobb said, what the fuck they getting mad at them for? They been fixed. So you want to look that up? Look it up. Ty Cobb talking about World Series being fixed before the 1918. But the difference was the owners fixed it. So that's the owners' care. That's why they was like, we can't have players, that book I got, Interference. We can't have players, on drugs. Because, they might own their guy. Even though they're making more money, enough money to buy the drugs. But yet, they might want more drugs, so they got to fix the game. When the game is already fixed, already scripted. And you remember, the WWE was demanded by Congress to admit it was scripted. It was entertainment. And remember, they have the same license. All of them have entertainment license. They have non-monopoly thing. That was what the USFL was trying to sue them for, saying this is a monopoly. NFL is a monopoly. There's no feeder system to the NFL other than college. There's no competition. They monopolize pro football. And they get a break. Well, you're not a monopoly. There's some companies they gave breaks. Sports, they give them a break. Now, baseball's more broke up. There's minor leagues. Basketball's the same way. There's always been a CBA, G League. People forget that the CBA was older than the NBA. So, if you're a person that thinks sports are real, you're naive. I mean, it's like going into the movie and thinking the movie's real. It's the same thing. It's no difference. Any kind of sports entertainment is just like the movies. It's all the same. Yes, I have a favorite team, but you never sit me thinking that, well, they just won on it. It was just the good. No. Now, I can point out offenses and stuff. I can point out defensive schemes. I can point all that out. And say how this was successful. Like I was talking about Dion. What did they say? They show a man look, slant. Safety's over here, we run automatic slant. There's nobody back there to get him. I mean, it's easy. It's that easy. Fast against slow. Strong against weak. You can put one-on-one people to make the fix. Like right now, the way they play defense is to hold. Grab jerseys. I made a video where it's clear the dude hold. I made another video where dude's clearly out of bounds. He doesn't make the catch in bounds. They gave it to him. But how many times are we seeing this? They're taught now to hold jerseys. We see it so much in college and pros, they teaching people to hold jerseys. If he beats you, grab his jersey. They don't call it, that's good. How many times do we see jerseys grabbed? They don't call it. Now it's every play. Every play, they grab their jersey. And look how many times they call it a game where they grab their jerseys. Only critical times. But almost when they show slow motion, break down receivers going out, they get grabbed almost every time. If they're close to each other, they're getting grabbed. That's what they're taught now, to grab. That's part of the game, is to grab shirts. It was a play today. I might have to catch it, but it's like the lineman was holding the defender. By the time everybody got past the lineman was behind him like he was trying to fuck him in the ass. The offensive lineman was holding him from behind because the player had got in front of him, and where he was holding him, he ended up holding him behind, like humping him in the ass. That's how bad he was holding the dude. No call. And yes, you know, I ref for 20 years. I know, ref football, high school football, some college, minor college, small college, for 20 years. And I know every play you can call holding. That's true. That's true. And I've watched a play where the dude has broke away and the niggas nearest me clipped the dude. That's a penalty. So the play is way past everybody, but the guy in front of me knocked the dude down in the back. That's an easy call for me. And I remember how pissed they was. This is a championship game for the junior highs. The running back had broke away. Me and the dude, you know, I'm kind of behind it. My partner's up there on the play because there's only two of us. Dude right in front of me from the ball carriers team plowed a dude in the back right in front of me. Now, did that have an effect of the play? No. But it didn't stop. It didn't take away the fact that he clipped him right in front of me. So if niggas was mad, they stayed mad at me. It was like, man, we'd have been undefeated. You didn't call that call. No, this nigga shouldn't have hit this motherfucker in the back in front of me. I'm just supposed to ignore this? They was mad at the motherfucker. For years, they still be mad. It's like, Dad, they still mad about that shit. My son would always say, because it's all dudes his age. But it was the right call. It was the right call. And so that's, you know, and like they got Gene Terratone, you know, they called him the muscular ref. He's one of the most crooked refs. Look at Gene Terratone's last game and how crooked the calls. He was one thing, if you read Dorda Hayes' book about the NBA refs, and it applies for the NFL too, it's like the more crooked you were, the higher you become. Gene Starstone or whatever, he's a basketball dude ref. He's a college basketball ref and an NFL ref. Look at his games and how crooked he was. And now they got him analyzing. He was one of the most crooked of the NFL refs. And college games too. He was a crooked college ref. Now they got this nigga analyzing other refs. And that goes into Tim Dorda-Hayes' book. The more crooked you are, they was taking the crooked refs and making them supervisors. I mean, look at the ref they had was a mob informant. What was his name? The mob informant? They had a mob informant, Joey something. They let ref for 20, 30 years. He was a mob informant. And the way for him not to get killed was they made him NBA ref so he'd be in the public eye. And you know how old, you know, it again goes into PWT. It goes into PWT. You can't take it out of him. This nigga is taking his checks. Joey Crawford, I think was his name. Mob informant. Joey Crawford took tickets that were first class, cashed them in, and rode coach. Here's a guy getting paid $100,000 back then, 20 years ago. That wasn't enough for him. He found a way to scam more money. Because again, ex-mob dude, that's all he knew was scamming. So that's when you read Dorda Hayes' book, you see all of them was just scamming. Cheating was part of scamming too. So you look at these other characters, it's like, yeah, these are just characters that's in on the fix. At times, the refs do have a say on the fix. Not all the time, but sometimes. And as I say, you know, you think football ain't fixed. Look at the tuck rule. They fixed the game right in your face. They showed you right in your face how they could fix it like wrestling. They didn't want the Raiders to go to Super Bowl, so they stopped it right mid-game. And that's how the current, that's a decision that came from Roger Goodell. He wasn't the commissioner then, but that was his fix. He came up with a fake rule to stop the Raiders from winning. And so without that, Brady would have disappeared. Because Brady would have got cut the next year. Parcells would have fired Brady for fumbling. He would have gave him a second chance. He'd have brought Drew whatever, Rosen, whatever his name was. He'd have brought him back in. Wouldn't have traded him to the Cowboys. That would have been the end of Brady. If that was a fumble like it was. So that's all you got to go back to. And that ain't that long ago to see that was a fix right in front of your face. They made up something to stop what naturally happened in the game. They made up something that had never been called before or since So that's why it's not legitimate. A rule is it's called over and over again. Not a one-time rule. There ain't no such rule as a one-time rule. Tuck rule was one time only that Roger Goodell came up with. He was a junior vice president or something with football. Tannehill, I think, was his name. No, not Tannehill, but it was after Pete Rozelle was that commissioner. But that's how, that's why the commissioner is the commissioner today. He's the one that came up with the Tuck rule. One-time rule. So that shows you fix. Rules keep going. Rules apply every time. Not one time and one time only in one history play. That Brady thing, they try to show a couple more. We say, well, here's another. Again, you got 20 years. You got 20 years to make up a fabrication or find another play. Because they tell you when it happened, it had never been called. It hadn't been called after. But then when you watch the scene, they say, well, here in Miami, it was called right here. You had a whole time to make that. So we don't know when that happened. Because it is not a prevalent rule that anybody knew before. So that shows you. There's no way you can believe after that. It's no way. And it goes for all the sports. Like that field goal I showed again, the ball went straight and then it cut hard to the right, which is impossibility off his foot. The way it veered, it was impossible to veer off his foot like that because the ball was going straight and you saw a traction push the ball to our right. If those of you that watched the game live, and that's what caught my attention. I was like, how the fuck he missed that? It's a Green Bay game, I think. The ball goes straight and something pushes the ball to the right unnaturally. Now, we saw some college games this weekend. Dude tried to kick it. The ball stayed right. Ball stayed left. Tried to kick it. The ball stayed left. Oh, what about Iowa? What do you got? Did you guys see Iowa where the dude got hit for the fair catch? And this is the rule. There's an official fair catch and there's applied fair catch. And that's the rule. So this is official, but if normally you got to raise it high. But if you do anything like this, it's an applied fair catch. And that's what they use for the Iowa game. Because you do see him do like this. He raises his hand. He doesn't raise it high like this. He does like this. And that's what they call applied fair catch. Or non-applied, the way they was breaking that shit down. I was like, oh, they're right. Because he does do this. They say any kind of movement with the hand to signal has to be looked at as we're taking that as a fair catch. Non-applied or some shit they were saying. So the Gophers, the first time the Gophers won since 90-something. Well, where am I at? 3 hours? Shit, I got to get up. I got chiropractor at 1. Yeah, I think this is enough. I can't do no more. I did enough ego bragging. I think this is good enough. Zach on one of his channels had the best, and I didn't copy it, but Zach had the best hockey one. Zach had on one of Zach's channels before they took it away, Zach had where it was a hockey goalie and somebody had hit it to his far right. All right, so it hits off the board to his far right behind him. All right, so he switches and he looks at it. Don't you know this board hits off to his far right, circles, comes in front of him, and gets by him. Now, if there was ever you saw a puck being controlled, that puck was clearly controlled. And this puck hits off the board, it's just going to bounce like where it's at. Not come in front of the net and then shoot past the goalie. And let's not forget, I think it's 85, where the dude grabs the puck out the air and throws it in the goal, raises his hand. And they count it. That announcer that used to wear the mullet this for ESPN, he played in that game. So ESPN's announcer, I forget his name, he's it's only 2 hockey dudes left. They fired the bunch of them. But that older hockey dude, he's in a game where he's playing a team and the motherfucker catches the net in the air and throws. They got this on film. He catches it in the air and throws the puck in the net. And the refs let it go. Like none of the refs saw him catch it in the air. The camera clearly catches him catching the ball puck, and he throws it in the net with his hand. Then he raises his hand, goal. And they go with it. And this is like the championship or semifinals in NHL. This is high level. And you telling me a dude catches the puck and ain't nobody gonna see and say, no, this nigga caught that motherfucker. None of the refs said that. And they all right there. They're all right there looking. Because what happens? If the ball goes in the air, what's the refs do? You follow the puck with your eyes. So you got 3 major refs, so you got 4 or 5 refs. No, hockey, I think it's only 4. You got 2 down there damn near by the net. You got 2 like midway and 2 further back. And you telling me none of them, when the puck went in the air, followed in the air. All of them was looking at something else. You know, because that's an excuse refs tell you. Like even, I didn't see it. you guys that play street balls, semi-pro, you know, I didn't see it. I'll look for it next time. And that's the thing. Sometimes, especially 2, you play pro ball, a lot of times you only got 2 refs, and it's shit they can miss. I know I've missed shit, you know, didn't turn my head quick enough and missed it. And I had to tell the person, I didn't see it. I really didn't. This shit went by me. I didn't turn my head quick enough. I missed him push you. That does happen. But I've seen people cheat so bad. I watched a high school game at Western Michigan where they cheated Benton Harbor so bad where the refs they got the shit beat out of them after the game. They cheated them, the people got them. That's why to this day, high school, college, they have police escorts. After that, at the state games, all the police, they had police escorts. And like what was funny is they built, like a lot of people wouldn't sit down, so they would stand up like in the, in the alleys of the court and shit, where people could stand. And so they built a fence there. And so this fence they used, when they got the referees, they started breaking the fence up and hitting the referees with parts of the fence. I mean, where I was, like we was trying to come and leave. So like we was sitting on the second level, so you had to come down. Where we was trying to come down was right where they was beating the refs' ass. They beat them white people up. They beat them Europeans up. I have to admit, them cheating ass Europeans, they got the shit beat out of them. Because again, they was cheating, High stakes game. The only way the European team that the European refs wanted to win was by cheating, and the fans had it. And after that, the referees got escorted because I had to work games where we had to escort them to the locker rooms. After that, it was because of that one game where they got their ass whooped. They say Spencer Haywood got kicked out of University of Detroit for punching a ref, and I think really, to me, refs being punched should happen more often. I mean, I really think so. I mean, sometimes they need their ass whooped because it's so bad. And it should happen much often than, it does. That motherfuckers just go off on the ref for cheating. I'm surprised, it's no major one because refs really cheat bad. But, when you're part of the fix, you understand you can't whoop the ref's ass because it's part of the fix. And, a lot of players went in it. Michael Jordan, part of the fix. Magic Johnson, part of the fix. I mean, look at this. Look at what the NBA did. The NBA destroyed 7-foot brothers, right? They don't want 7-foot brothers anymore. Steph Curry shooting from the other end. There's no room for 7-foot brothers. But then they bring this dude to Denver. All of a sudden, there's room for 7-footer. Oh, he can pass like Bill Walton. Okay. There's a Charles Barkley room, and him and Luka both abuse it all the time, where you can't dribble more than, 11 seconds? Luka, Nico get to dribble until they score. Supposed to be a rule against that. You can't take the whole 25 seconds and just back somebody down, but they get to do it constantly. So you see how they made them look good. But as I said before, ain't none of them Eastern Bloc dudes marketable. They ain't marketable. You ain't seeing none of them dudes in commercials. They got shoes. That dude from Denver ain't even got shoes because them dudes is hard to market. They ain't marketable. No national commercials. That's marketable. When you give me a national commercial, that's marketable. Them Eastern Bloc dudes ain't marketable. When Luka and that dude Porzingis came in, they had them fucking Nazi cuts. That definitely wasn't marketable. These niggas come in the NBA with them SS haircuts. But again, you know, they take the game away from our guys, make our guys have to go over there. Before COVID, let's remember, before COVID, the minor league is in China. It's the G League and it's China. It ain't Europe anymore. None of those leagues are looked at as top leagues anymore. The top leagues is China. G League in China. Nothing in Europe is top anymore. But they tell us they need to bring these players over here from a league that's not the top league anymore. Europe is not the top league, it's China. That's the top league. It's not Europe. It's been not Europe. But yet you telling us you ain't bringing a lot of dudes from China, but you want our top players to go play in China instead of going to play in Europe. Isn't that what they did? Marbury? Wasn't that the feeder league? For COVID, that was the feeder league. If you ain't on the NBA team till they passed the age, I'll admit that. G League, it was an age difference. G League, you had to be 21, 22, I think, for long. Now the G League is open to any age. But before COVID, if you wasn't playing in the NBA, you was playing in China. You wasn't playing in Russia. You wasn't playing in Europe. You was playing in China. That was the top feeder. That's where they wanted to keep people fresh. But they tell you we need to bring this dude who they've watched since he was a little boy. Same with Luka. They've kept their eye on these people. And I've told the story before. They were so desperate to bring Europeans, they would follow tall Europeans home. This is what, these NBA commissioners did. The NBA Stern, Jewish faith Stern. That's what he did. He told him, his Jewish faith scouts, go find me tall Europeans. Because we need this to be a world game. And the talent's not there. Because to us, like I was saying, my grandson, I don't know, he's playing football. It's inside of him. When you're born in America, it's inside of you. If any of your relatives ever played any of the sacred ball games, it's inside of you. Even if you're just a fan. Your relatives was fans, you're just a fan. It's inside of you. It's not artificial. You're from America. This shit was made in America. So it's part of our DNA. It's part of us. It's not part of these foreigners. Globetrotters showed them. Not the NBA. The Globetrotters showed the rest of the world how to play basketball. Not the NBA. It was the Globetrotters. See, people forget the Globetrotters would go hold camps. Right? They didn't just go play basketball. They would go hold camps. They gave the first camps in Africa, Europe, Russia. Then the NBA set up the leagues. Just like, after World War II, they set up the baseball leagues in Korea, the baseball leagues in Japan. Same thing. The exact same thing. NBA backed those leagues. That was, if you didn't play in the Eastern League, you played overseas. But see, the Eastern League, we just going to make more money. And you ain't have to move over there. And then they had Isaiah Thomas buy all the Eastern League and destroy it because they wanted to bring something new in, not something established. Isaiah Thomas, I think he paid $10 million for all the Eastern League teams. I think it was 11, 12 teams he paid $10 million to get, and he destroyed it. He made it disappear. So that was his job. It was to destroy the Eastern League that existed before the NBA. Established teams. I was talking about Steve Mix. If you want to look him up, he played with a Battle Creek team called the Battle Creek Trackers. George Gervie played in the Flint team before he went to the Squires. So there were other leagues that we had that were high-level basketball. And Isaiah Thomas destroyed it. And then a year or two later, Jewish faith, David Stern, we're going to have a G League. And then the reports come out, they was trying to do it with Isaiah Thomas, but he wouldn't accept the money. He's like, no, I need more. That's the story instead of telling they really wanted to kill it. That's the stories come out, but they really wanted to kill it. So they could bring in something new, not something established. Because if it's established, you can say, well, we've been established, so we got this crowd already for the teams that were established. You understand me? And they went to some of these same cities. that was established and brought a new product in. See how dirty they are? And, you know, I'll say it's great now that you can get paid in high school because we know people have committed suicide and they got CTE from playing little boy football, high school football. We found people that have killed themselves from CTE playing little boy football and high school football. So if you can get paid in high school, you should. Because what was I just talking about? Europeans. Europeans don't have any grade school basketball. They don't have any junior high basketball. They don't have any high school basketball. They only have pro basketball. Semi-pro, pro. Luka, look at Luka's story. He stopped living with his family at 13. Started playing with a pro, semi-pro team. Pro. You see? They don't have high school ball. They just have pro ball. So that shit with the Olympics was bullshit. All the rest of the world was getting paid to play these pro sports, but then they go to Olympics, the amateurs, because they don't play it as pros. Now make that make sense. That's the lie they told you about the Olympics. When a team like Greece, that all their leagues is pro leagues, Paris, all these teams in Europe, all of them is pro leagues. Then they get to the Olympics because it's not called the NBA. They're still amateurs. Come on, that's lies. That's the lies they was telling you. You know, NBA lost, so they had to get the veterans to play. And you remember how hard they came on Jim Thorpe, over a dude he beat. The dude who punished Jim Thorpe was a dude who Jim Thorpe physically beat in the 1912 Olympics, Avery Brundage. He's the same person that fucked over Jesse Owens. Jealous. Jesse Owens was like, man, I'm tired. I've been here for 6 months. I want to go home. I don't like Germany. I don't like Europe. I want to go home, be with my wife. Avery Brundage blackballed him. Said Jesse couldn't go in the next Olympics or any more tours. Because Jesse was tired and burned out and was ready to go home. And Avery Brundage only took those medals from Jim Thorpe because he was jealous of Jim Thorpe. And nobody looked at that when they disgraced Jim Thorpe and made him really die in a life of poverty. Because when you're the greatest athlete of your era, when you get old, you ain't coaching, you ain't making money off the thing you love. And at some point, you're in the circus, you got to dig ditches. Kills you inside. And they've embarrassed you. You can't make money off what you've loved, the sacred ball game. So Jim Thorpe died in disgrace. Now his family has since got back the medals because he was wronged. The people that did it to him knew it was wrong. They did it out of hate and jealousy. And Europeans, that Indian did this, and see, it was a shaming, but it was a shaming ritual that killed him. Same way they did Joe Louis. Hounded Joe Louis over $2 million that he gave to the Navy. Hounded him for taxes over 2 fights that he didn't make a penny. Joe Louis couldn't read or write. They knew this. They knew the people that kept his books. Didn't go after none of them. Tex Rickard, maybe. But they went after Joe. And it's on paper that, Joe didn't make the money they said he made. They chased Joe around. If Joe was wrestling and would get cash, they'd find out where the wrestling match was. Joe would ref so they could get that $20, $30. If he was a greeter in Las Vegas, Joe was getting paid, they would try to grab that money from him. Joe became addicted to cocaine, paranoid. But this is the life, this is what they did to Joe Louis that said, I'm on God's side. And they used that. We're on God's side. He beat the Nazi in the ring. And that's how they repaid him. And that's why Joe died a pretty young man, around my age, maybe slightly older, wheelchair bound. Forced him to be an addict. And then once an addict, he took more advantage of him mentally, hounding him for every penny he made, knowing the background. But this is what they did to him, to break him, to kill him young. Richard Pryor makes a joke of it. Joe Louis is one they should forgive with them taxes. Red Fox, look how they hounded Red Fox. Same way. Because he was a comedian. You know, these niggas couldn't read or write. You know, live shows, you know, you do a stand-up, you getting cash sometimes back in the day. You know, they follow around. Well, how much did you pay Red Fox here? You paid him $7,000? Then, you know, this is what they'll do. They'll take all the places you perform, they'll go back. How much did you pay Red? How much did you pay Red? Then they say, Red, you owe this much in taxes. And how do you know they weren't lying? That their books wasn't rigged? And then you got these executives making all this money that can write shit off. And they don't go after them because they wrote it off. But they hound these brothers. And you know, Red Fox had bad habits. Cigarette smoker, crazy cigarette smoker. Died on set of his TV show. With him and Delarice had a TV show. And you can see it right before he dies. They do something to aggravate him. He's in an interview and the production people are fucking with him. You can see they're trying to kill him. Watch that scene before Red Fox dies, how they try to kill him. They're trying to overstress him. It's like the scene is Red Fox just had to be in the scene. He didn't say shit. All he had to do is be there. Here he is trying to have an interview with one of the TV things. And they're hounding him. And he doesn't have to do anything. It's like he wasn't even needed when they was hounding him. So they were trying to make this man die. They were putting undue stress on him. Watch that last interview. And he dies shortly after that interview. And just look at him. And again, cigarette smoker. Probably didn't eat right. But they're trying to kill this man, and they succeeded. A lot of people say, well, they work for them. They were going to make... No. They were trying to kill him. They were trying to kill him, and they succeeded. I mean, you don't think that Hollywood and entertainment will work you to death? They will. And what they did to Red Fox and what they did to Joe Louis wasn't right. And they knew it wasn't right. It was a power thing. It was destroying Superman, especially with Joe Louis. We got to destroy Superman. You really think that Rocky Marciano at 5'5" could knock out 5'11" Joe Louis, even though Joe Louis was 100 years old when Rocky beat him? Rocky was what, 5'5", 5'6", 5'7"? Wasn't that? I met George Walcott, and he was only 5'6". Rocky might have been 5'7". And you really think that 5'7" dude could beat all these people like that? What did they try to do? What did they need against Jack Johnson? They needed a great white hope. So they inserted him everywhere they could and build him up. Shit, Joe Wilcott was beating the shit out of him. They was like, Joe, let him knock you out. And so just Jersey Joe swung he leaves himself open, gets knocked out. That's what they told him to do. He's beaten Rocky to that point. Ezra Charles, before Rocky retired his last fight, where they had to cut his eyelid open, that they did that to the original Rocky. Ezra Charles had did that shit to him. Closed both his eyes. They had to cut one of his eyes open. Ezra Charles beat his ass and they ain't called a fight. That's why I retired. This nigga was 5'6", trying to carry 200 pounds fighting niggas. It wouldn't fly today. Nobody that little could win today. All right. I guess 3.5 hours is enough of my ranting and raving. So thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Everybody that comes through, I appreciate it. If I missed you, calling you in, I'm sorry. Mac Bone, if you still listening. Yes. Like I said, if my son moves in here, I got to move all this shit up out of here, and I got to sit in my loft. So I'm not. I'm gonna be on this week, a little bit next week. Yeah, this coming week, but yeah, next week's gonna be hectic. Definitely not next weekend when I get married. So I'm gonna try to get the other camera put up. Yeah, because there was no sense of. And I've got to get all these, because cats bite on these wires, so I got to get covers for all these fucking wires too. So then my son's probably watching this like, yeah, he's gonna let me move in. Yeah, Pop's gonna let me move in. Yeah, I don't look forward to it though.
Because that's my son, and I know that nigga. And that nigga, it's funny how, when you let motherfuckers live with you, they're just the greatest, and then their personalities come in. And that nigga becomes very ungrateful and disrespectful at times. And, that's the shit I don't really want to deal with. I ain't got to deal with it. My daughter's 12. It's not too much disrespect I get from her. My girl says she talks shit to you all the time. I'm like, yeah, okay. But I don't really need to choke her to make her understand. I just got to look at her. She understands. But so this next 2 weeks is gonna be hectic. Tomorrow, maybe because of the Monday night game to see how I end up. Because right now I said I'm 5-7. 5-7. I think I gave myself +7 tomorrow. I saw some 49ers fans here too. When I was at the outlet, I saw some 49ers fans. So 49ers people is coming in town. And I'm going to see New Orleans on the 12th. Yeah, that's one of my getting married gifts. Them boys got, try that shit. Them boys got, what does it say? Them boys got to try that shit. Oh, yeah, in your crib. Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna make this nigga write a contract, and if he don't do something at a certain period, it's not forever. Cause we're gonna buy another house, but the way the market is and the interest rates, I don't know. It's kind of high right now. The interest rates, like they're asking like 8%. Not really a good time to buy. And what they're saying is, well, you can always refinance. Yeah, that's a fucked up refinance, 8%. That's what a lot of people are offering now. And there's some people, you hearing 10, definitely don't buy the house. So I think we're gonna go just hold this one a little longer, but we're definitely gonna buy another house. So, but we're gonna keep this one too. So yeah, that's all coming up. So maybe, if we find another house, we'll buy another house and he can stay here. And my mother's gonna move here. That's why we're keeping this place, because my mother's gonna end up moving here. Because this is like all her friends, and we're here, and we're looking for a house near. I'm not gonna be too far from where we're at. All the houses we looked at is around here, close to where I can. I'm 15 minutes from my daughter, so doesn't take me long to get there. And my son is closer than that. So that's, kind of my long range plan. So this week will be smooth. Next week's going to be kind of rocky on the days I come, because I'm not sure. Yeah, not really sure. A lot going on. So yeah. But, we got children. It's like my other son is in a similar situation, and he's definitely not moving in. Him and his partner, they're definitely not moving in. They got to figure it out. But it's like my last apartment, like my son is really, my last apartment was what he could afford. And that's what I tried to tell him. Keep this place. This place is cheap. Oh, and it's like funny, young motherfuckers in the ego. Oh no, I'm making so much. I want this other apartment. I'm making, just he's making so much. And then all the times he had to call me. Yeah, well, I don't have any money for any food. All my bills go to, all my bills take my money. But you the nigga that says you're gonna get all this overtime and you was making so much. What happened? And then, all people want to stay with him. Oh, they want to be my roommate, and they're gonna pay so much. Well, where are all them at now? Where are all them people now? But he should have kept that other apartment. It was affordable. What I was paying, shit. Yeah, it's almost double what I was paying just a few years ago. So just to tell you, it was a good deal. It was a good deal. Where I was before was a good deal. It had been perfect for him to take over. Cheap. And, again, and he lost it because he thought it was okay to box in his living room. And I mean box with gloves, with, big dudes fighting, when, you got thin walls, thin floors above you, and people can hear everything, but you thought it was okay to box hard, scare the people around you. They call the police on you because you boxing. I mean, how kind of stupid do you got to be to think that's okay? But you know where it comes from? He used to box at one of his not girlfriend, but one of his friends had a house. She would let them box in their house. You see what I'm saying? That's a house. So in their mind, this is my apartment. I can do what I want. Then the police come. Then the landlord's calling me because I'm on the lease too. She's like, he has one more police come, he's got to be put out. And what I'm supposed to say, I've signed up for the place, what I'm supposed to tell the lady.
And she telling me I'm supposed to be there. I'm like, this nigga's old enough to know better. But obviously he wasn't, because he wasn't done. He just letting anybody stay there. Another police call. Dude OD'd in his place. Another police call. So, you know, the nigga got to move because he immaturity. But yet I'm supposed to be the safety net. You know, I'm supposed to be the safety net for some shit I told him the way to go. And his ego didn't want to listen to me. And that's what I don't like. And that's why I hesitate about letting this nigga live with me again, because I told him the way to success. Say, keep this place. This is what you can afford. But his ego, I need better than this. I need more. But your bread don't say you can do more. But see, his ego was talking, not common sense. And, you know, I'm looked at as wrong if I turn my back and make this nigga homeless. That's on him. This nigga's 21 years old. That's on him. I didn't get the police called on me one time when I lived there. The lady across the street, the lady next to me was schizophrenic. And she told the police that I threatened to kill her because I looked out the window. This bitch act like she was talking to somebody out the window. I looked out the window. This bitch is just talking crazy. And then later she asked me, you know, what was we talking? I'm like, what was we talking about? Bitch, you was talking, you had your whole conversation outside like she was on the phone. And she tells the police I threatened to kill her. The police come to me, knock on my door, like he sees me and my daughter watching the movie. He's like, that's the face he made. He's like, you're just sitting here watching TV with your daughter. Yes. Like, what is, I ain't said nothing to that lady. I popped my head out the window and looked at the bitch, and the bitch is talking like she's having a full conversation on the phone. Then she tells the police I threatened to kill her. All I do is look out the window. That's why the police, that's the only time in 5 years in my old place. So, you know, I know how to stay away. So, it's a hard decision. I don't look forward to it. So, this nigga might be ass out. He might have to see if his girl will put up with him or go get him a hotel. It's a place not far from him where he can pay about a week. And he might have to Uber and live in that place. That's probably what I'm going to suggest. It's a place where he could pay, and it's not too far for him to Uber back and forth to work. If he get him a little car, but I think that's where he going to end up. He going to get that place. It's not too far from him, and he can pay by the week. And that'll teach a nigga, you know, to act right. Just because you got your own place, you know, like it's like freedom don't always mean totally free to do what the fuck you want. And that's a hard lesson for him. Because of the way, you know, he's a man in a lot of ways, but a lot of ways the nigga still got that little boy mind. And that's the problem I have with a nigga drinking and shit. You know, he still got that little boy get drunk. It ain't the mature 21-year-old, it's still that little boy in him that gets drunk. And that's what's fucked up about him drinking. Because he turns into the little boy thinker. And, you know, they like he has that problem like his mother. You know, they don't know to just, like, you can't say I've come on here and you seen me sloppy drunk. The most I've ever drank, maybe 2 beers. Never drank 3 while I'm doing this. And can't nobody say I was doing like this and shit. You know, you ain't never say I was on the air and I got so drunk where I'm just bent over and shit. I drink beer, but I don't get drunk. I don't like that feeling. That's why I don't drink liquor. Like Christmas, I'll buy a liquor pack. You know, you get the Christmas with the glasses. I'll get some scotch. That's about the only kind of liquor I can really stand. Well, because I think this is bourbon. I don't mind bourbon. Yeah, I think this has got bourbon. So I don't mind bourbon, scotch. But that's about it. I'm not really much of a liquor drinker. I'm more of a weed smoker, an edible eater. Other movies catch my cat's attention and put him to sleep. I am tripping. He's reincarnated. Oh, yeah. And that's another thing. It's like I got to put my cat someplace. He takes care of my 2 cats. So now I got to rehome them. And, you know, I've had them cats, both of them for 5 years, 6 years. And I've been paying, you know, for their litter and paying. And now I found another home for them. And if we don't move, because
this association, we own this place, but it's still association. You can only have 2 cats. It's a row house, still association. They do our grass and, all that shit, but we can only have 2 cats. And we got 2 cats, not 4. Plus, I don't, I don't know how they'd get along. So I found another place for them. So, it's not fair to them, but it's better than, putting them down. So, and then where they're going is a good place. Even if it's a couple places they might go. They might end up going a little up north, but it's still a good place where they'll get fed and they can be warm and they can be cats. And that's all I want for them. So, but yeah. Well, I'm going to close it. This is 3 hours. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Like I said, I don't try to be rude. What did he say? I don't try to be rude. What did he say? I don't try to be rude. I don't mean to be rude. And that's it. I don't mean to be rude. I gotta go one more. Nope. No. Where is it? Yeah. I don't mean to be out of line. I don't mean to be rude, and I don't mean to be out of line. So, and I'm not talking about anybody personal, but my son. I'm talking about personal, but other events. I don't dislike Jewish faith people individually, but as a culture, you have to look at their history of blood libel. That's been their history, every country. I mean, right now I can bring up every country they've been expelled from. And it all basically boils down to blood libel. You do your own search on what blood libel is, but that's what it comes to. And this is what they practice. And now the melanated people of the world saying it's enough of is enough. And remember, Jewish faith people tell you they're not European. Or they tell you they're not white. And they definitely didn't used to be white. Look, well, the Klan, why do you think the Klan excluded them? Because they weren't considered Anglo-Saxon. And how do you originate from Russia and then say you from the Holy Lands? And there's no history of your migration from anywhere to where you at. When in reality, you had Christians on one side of you and you had Muslims on the other side of you. So you found a way to be neutral and still do business. And that's where you stole that religion. It had nothing to do with people coming from that area, migrating to those areas. It had nothing to do with that. I don't give a fuck what DNA says. All that is myth. And they know it's myth. You have no connection to those areas. And all of it's myth and lies. I mean, it's like saying, it's the same thing as saying, America's, eventually, they made it their way over here. It's no, you came over here and you destroyed. So that's the same thing they did. They was allowed by the British and Americans to destroy that area and take control. And they still backed by the same people. So those fourth down converts came through. That they did. Well, y'all, enough of that. I don't mean to be rude. And I don't need to be talking about them peoples. And whoever had the copyright to Bernie Mac, really, nobody gives a fuck about Bernie Mac. Ain't nobody playing that shit consistently like I play it. And like my girl here. Where's she at? Well. Gotta get a piece. You know what she said? She said, me and you can share bread. You giving me publicity, me and you can share bread. But you got this lame ass Bernie Mac shit don't nobody play but me. And it's a copyright. And I've been playing this shit for almost a year. But I talk about them people and all of a sudden the copyright. Well. Gotta get a piece. And I play Jimi Hendrix. And she ain't came after me. His sister ain't came after me. I play Richard Pryor. They ain't came after me. And I play a lot of Richard Pryor. And how come it is this little clip of Bernie Mac? What's so important? You making a lot of bread off that clip? It's really worth saying, hey, you shouldn't play that little bit of Bernie Mac. Or I should make money. The only reason I try to make money off when I do the movies because I pay to go see the movie. So if you want to hear a review, I generally put commercials in them. But normally when I talk, I don't put commercials in this. Look at them all. It's only the movie ones. You want to hear the review? I figure it's worth watching the commercial. Is that fair? You just want to hear me philosophize? I don't charge for that. And watch debauchery, I don't charge for that. Well, I gotta go. It's fucking damn near 4 o'clock. Till we meet